Well, oh, is that loud? Well. Hello. Wait, I sound so loud on this thing. Holy Christ. 1 second. Do I gotta turn this down here, maybe? Okay. Am I coming out super loud? And then, do I need to restart everything? Okay. Hello, well. Welcome, everyone. Today's gonna be a bit of a short stream, maybe, just because there's a few things I didn't get a lot of work done today. I was socializing a little too much, and by too much I mean I hung out with 2 people today. But listen, in my world, that's like doing a lot. That's being social, okay? So I haven't spent as much time at home to get a lot of work done. But here I am. Look, I feel dedicated, so I didn't want to skip a day. So we're gonna do a dedicated stream. I want to get some photo and video editing out of the way. Yeah, and feel productive. What's up? Elthing says good afternoon. And Dator says hello, Yobel, hey everyone. Guten Abend. And good job, congrats Elthing for gambling it all away and winning. Alright, are you guys able to hear me okay? How's the volume on everything? Audio is fine. Oh, what's up, Fed? Sorry. Wait, which one's not connected then? Man, it's always like a 50-50 guess which of my... when I'm doing the vertical and landscape streams on YouTube, one of them shows up in my unified feed, my chat feed in OBS, and the other one I have to manually look at. So today's culprit or victim is the landscape one. What's up, Fed? Fed said, howdy. Hold on. I feel like I'm being super loud. Do I have to talk like this maybe? Fed says, howdy, I was out shooting some birds today with the new Nikon 50-250DX handheld. The stabilization plus the lens VR worked really well. Nice. Hopefully, well, if you have any photos to share, we'd love to see it. Fed says, zoomed all the way in. It's the equivalent of a 375 millimeter in full frame terms. Yeah, what is the APS-C crop? Is it like 1. Is it 1.5? 1. I don't know. I should know. That should be one of the quiz questions on my thing. And by new, I mean I just picked up the lens recently. The lens is actually several years old now. Gotcha. Audio is fine. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. I'm still testing out the rodecaster. I'm going to be honest, I haven't had any time to test it since the last stream. But it's not because I've been wasting my life away being lazy. I've been very, very productive. I'm super excited. I filmed the first episode of a new series that I'm going to try to test out on my YouTube channel. And so I spent all of yesterday just trying to see if I could do it okay. And I'll share a bit of it on today's stream. I'll show you guys some of what it's going to look like, and I'm going to hand it over to the editor. That's the other really awesome news. Fingers crossed. I'm going to jinx myself, I guess. But the editor that I'm working with for this latest video, he sent over the first draft of the Pidgeotech backpack gear that I had sent over to him, and I'm very excited. This guy, some people just have it, other people don't. You know what I mean? Some people have the creative spark. Yeah, how do you say? Like, whether it's like knowing what music to use, how to make something feel more energetic, how to kind of go with the mood and then like play with different emotions to kind of make you feel engaged. And like I said, some people do a really good job of it and others don't. And I feel like this guy definitely has that talent. And this is just from the first draft. So I'm very, very excited. I might be able to go over it in more detail later, or maybe I can show you guys a preview of some of the elements. But yeah, I'm very excited because finally, after how many failed editors, and listen, things could still fail because, like, as we talk about working together long term, I don't know what that means in terms of cost, right? There could be like it could be way outside my budget, right? So who knows? But if I'm able to work out something with this guy, it's just giving me that extra level of motivation and excitement that I can start plugging away. I can start filming things. I can be boring. I could just be my usual boring self, and this dude is just gonna punch it up so it sounds and feels more exciting than I actually am. And that's real skill. Fed says it depends on the brand, but yeah, 1.5 or 1.6. Gotcha. I was filming the birds in red raw. I will put it on my channel when I'm done editing. Ooh, send it over, Rover, Fed. And then L says, hi, Dator, which got... Wait, It got translated to hi boss. Dator. Does Dator mean boss? Every time I say, hey, Dator, am I calling you boss this whole time? Have you been tricking us? It's like finding out that your name means daddy, and you've gotten me this whole time to be like, hey, daddy, or hey, big daddy. Oh, well, now I said it out loud, which is unfortunate, but you get the point. Welcome, guys. Hello, hello. Are you okay? Hopefully the audio is good, because like just as a quick recap, I am now streaming with this new rodecaster, and with the rodecaster, there's a few things that I still TBD. I don't know what's working, what's not working. And because I completely switched all the audio routing into this rodecaster because I want to fully stress test this guy. So I have the Scarlett Focusrite that I was using before, where I hooked up the speakers and my headphones. Now it's all going into there. And without really knowing how to use this rodecaster video, I can hear myself, so I am monitoring myself, and I feel like I can, it's like a little bit of like a robotic sound in my monitor. So it may be like as if I'm, how do I describe this? I don't know what I'm saying. The point is, I can't tell if my voice is being echoed or like sounding tinny or robotic. I haven't touched anything in the rodecaster yet in terms of improving the quality. And then separately, I hear the S sound so sharply. Yo, what's up? Maple Glade. I'm trying to avoid the ad. Yeah. Maple Glades. What's up? What's up? So I definitely, if I talk from this side, the S sound completely disappears in terms of the shrill S. So maybe that's what I need to do. I need to speak this way as opposed to directly into the mic, or maybe I need to like turn down the gain of this microphone so I could speak my regular volume and not feel like the S just pierces your soul. I don't know. That's how little I know about this. But yes, what's up? Maple says date. Oh, have I been pronouncing? Wait a second. Have I been pronouncing his name wrong this whole time? Datore, which is now being translated to that dude. Wait, is that true? Yeah, Datore, are you there? If you're still there, please help us understand. Are we calling you boss? Are we calling you what up, that dude? Are we calling you big daddy? What have we been calling you in German? Mabel says it's balanced enough. I have you higher on mobile than I normally would, but it's clear. Okay. Oh, so oh, I must have the monitor way too loud then. Okay, let me turn down the monitor there. So you're saying from your side it's not coming out super loud because you have me upped on the mobile. So if anything, it's the opposite. I might be speaking too quietly, or I might need to lift the gain. There's new ads on Twitch mobile. Oh, wait, I thought Twitch was starting a new thing because I've seen it on a few streams where it doesn't replace the stream. It just shows the ad next to the actual stream. So that way you don't get interrupted. In which case, if they did implement that everywhere, I think that's a cool feature because I think it's just so annoying that they would, yeah, anyways, I just get annoyed by certain features of Twitch, but that's also just user error. If you talk from that side, you're not talking into the right side of the mic. De-esser and high EQ adjustments. Don't talk into the side of the mic. That's madness. Yo, Maple, I'm about to show you some more madness, by the way, because I filmed the first episode of this new series I want to do on my YouTube channel. And I think it's going to be pretty ridiculous in the sense of like, I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but in the spirit of trying new things and being more comfortable putting yourself out there, something I did recently. But thank you for being here, Maple, as always, all you guys. I appreciate it. Fed says you're usually a bit louder than today. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, let me reread that. Fed says the sound seems fine. You're too loud. Actually, the music could be a bit lower. Oh wait. Okay, hold on. Can you guys confirm? Thank you guys for being my troubleshooters. Can you guys hear the audio right now? Oh, sorry. Because I just muted the music player in OBS. But if you guys recall, I mentioned that every audio that I hear coming from the computer is being routed through Rodecaster, and I haven't learned yet how to isolate them and mix the sounds. So I'm assuming you guys can still hear the music. Mute the music and check your mic levels in OBS. You're not too sibilant. Oh, thank you. Let's add that to my diction. Sibilant. Did I say sibilant? You're not too sibilant for us. Okay. Fed says I can still hear the music. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, so my assumption is all the audio I hear, you guys can hear, because Rodecaster combines it into one, which reminds me. Let me open up Rodecaster. Okay, I was planning not to do too much troubleshooting on today's stream. I didn't want to bore you guys with that. I wanted to just get right into the video and video editing stuff. However, this is probably something important for me to do now. So let's try to figure out the audio stuff, and then we're gonna get cracking. I wanna get some work done. Okay, so how do I do this? If I click on editing scene, all right, you guys should be able to see my Rodecaster app now. So, and Fed said the music is louder today compared to the voice. Did anything change? Okay, hold on. Let's test that. I'm going to turn the audio back on for this music player in OBS right now. And then I'm gonna lift the volume up on it. Are you guys hearing double audio of the music? Let me Alright, I'm gonna turn this back down just in case. Mute the music and check your mic levels. Adjust the mic input, etc. So you're in that -12 to 6 dB at the very loudest, and then bring the music back in. Well, okay, so the problem I'm having now is that I did that in OBS before and it worked fine, but now it's all coming through here. So I guess I need to adjust it here in the Rodecaster app. Okay, so maybe I'll check from the Rodecaster app, but this app doesn't really tell me what the unit measurement is on the side, or like what these numbers are. But okay, let me play around with that. Don't troubleshoot though, that's just for your own knowledge. Gotcha. I can't sit around and guide you through. You're not my dad. Mabel says, I'm on my way to a shoot. Yes, we hear doubled music. Okay, thank you for letting me know. So I'm gonna mute that thing. Fed says, I still hear the music. If you're doubling the music, that might be why it's louder. Yeah, so I've now muted the other stuff, because it seems like everything is routed through the Rodecaster. So if I continue using this, I'll have to maybe mute everything else. And then I need to figure out how it all routes to this silly little thing here. I know it's coming through as one signal. That's why we mute the music, so we isolate the mic levels in OBS. But here's the thing, I'm just not explaining myself properly, obviously. So okay, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna pause the music. So we'll just meditate in silence for a bit. What is up, my dude? Cyronia says, talk to Daddy AI. Oh yeah. Oh, you know, I haven't talked to AI in quite some time. I probably should. You know, AIs are human too, or whatever people will chant someday. Mabel says, yeah, more ChatGPT will help, obviously. Okay, so I've muted everything. You guys can see here, this is what the Rodecaster app is showing me. I'm on this live mix thing, and combo 1, which is this bad boy, my RE20. And as we see here, me talking at my loudest, it's still not reaching higher. So I'm assuming, okay, maybe I'll lift this up a bit. Testing. I'm going to lift it up. The maximum I can lift up here is 6 dB. I hope you guys could, I hope you guys can notice a difference in the audio. Oh, actually, the best way to change. Yep. And then we're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it back, bringing it back. I'm going to blast it to 6 dB. So it seems like that's the highest I can do on this thing anyways. And I don't know if I can control it here. Oh, I guess I could control from here, but I don't know how to do that yet. You'll figure it out. Don't spend all day on it. It's fine. Happy streaming. Yes, you're 100% right. But I appreciate that you guys stick around and help me out regardless. Wow, such good Samaritans. Okay. I'm just going to do one quick check though. Where did the Rodecaster thing go? So hopefully you guys do hear my audio, the microphone audio decently well. Then the next thing I want to test out is maybe it must be this USB 1 or USB 2. So let's see where the music's coming from. I'm going to turn on the music now. Voice is good now. Thank you, Fed. Yo, Daytor. Daytor says, hello, Maple. Good morning to Canada. Dator, can you confirm for us how do you pronounce your name, and what does it translate to in English? Because my chatbot thing is saying that one time it said that your name translates to boss, or it translates to the dude. And also I'm saying Dator, but I don't know if it's Datore or Datora or whatever. It is a fantasy name. Okay, as long as it's not Big Daddy, then we're all good. Because I've been saying hey Dator way too many times. Yo, we got Kavai in the chat. Kavai who says hello. Welcome to the stream. I wasn't planning to stream too long. I just want to have a concentrated, dedicated stream. And I'm already off the rails because I haven't done any work yet. But fixing the audio is a necessity. So, okay, so we see that the music coming out of USB 1. And right now, I have it set to the volume in my headphones to be pretty decent. Like, it's not too loud for me. And then the question is, how loud is it for you guys? So I'm assuming I should turn this down a bit. Oh, it turns it down for me too. Dang it. Well, then how do I monitor? Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay, so... Oh, I know that turns everything up. All right, this is going to be fun to try to figure out. All right, so maybe... Because I need... Oh, sorry. I got to turn this down a bit. It's way too loud for me. Testing. Okay, so now I can hear myself, but it's not too loud in my headphones. But then the question is, how loud is the music player? And if we look at this little panel, it's hovering in the lower end of the spectrum, but I can't really tell what does that mean. So let's say if I increase the volume just a bit. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear the music and it's not too crazy loud and it's not too quiet. And then my voice should shine above everything else because it's me. Let me just read what you guys said. The levels were fine after you upped the voice. Ooh, well then I guess I should have left it as is. I know, so Maple says, I know it's coming through as one signal. That's why we mute the... Oh yeah, sorry about that. All good. I'll have to go in a few minutes. No worries, Kavai. All is well. Okay, so that means I should lift this guy back up a bit. And then we'll wait for the next song to kick in. Okay. Based on these things, it does feel like my voice is dominant, and then this one at times gets a little bit higher, but we're gonna try this and hopefully everything's fine. So, oh yeah, and the question is, do I want to try to live stream on TikTok today? Man, I'm a little bit nervous about streaming on TikTok because like now it's 2 streams in a row where I got dinged with that little you know, you've been... I don't know if this is a new system, but they like said, you've been temporarily, you know, I don't know what the word would be. Ghosted? No. What's that word where they shadow banned? Basically, they're like, hey, we're not going to promote your stream anywhere. So basically, we're taking you off, is for lack of better words. And they don't tell you why. My assumption was it's because I was playing a YouTube video, maybe. And that it could be that. Or it could have been somehow the music that I'm playing. Perhaps for some reason they're saying it's copyright stuff, even though I'm playing all the music that I've got licensed. I have no idea. So I'm a little bit nervous to test out the stream on TikTok today. So you know what? Let's not stream on TikTok. We're just gonna continue with the usual fam here, YouTube and Twitch. Okay, so I think the audio is good enough for me to proceed with today's stream. So firstly, hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Today's just going to be a proper, I say proper. Here, let me switch over to this guy again. Let me bring this over here. Cool. All right, we're going to do a proper editing stream today. And let's see, oh my God, are both my cats here? Let's see. So shout out to Kimbap, who seems to be here today. Thank you for being present, my boy. Showing his ass today, though. It is what it is. And we got Nala. All right, wow. Everyone is here today, so that's a good sign. We're going to get some good amount of work done. Hello, Nala. Good girl. Yeah. I need like a long stick so I could pet I can pet Kimbap from here because he's obviously he's far away. But yeah, it is what it is. All right, so now that we know and we've acknowledged my cats, we can proceed. Let me open up DaVinci and let me open up Lightroom on my end. And yeah, I mentioned this earlier, but I haven't had time to play around with the rodecaster at all today or yesterday either. So I'm going to hopefully take care of that tomorrow. Give me a second as I open up a bunch of applications here. DaVinci and Lightroom. And then let's switch back over here. Okay. Oh yeah, what do I want to share with you guys? Well, no, I can't. Oh, unfortunately, I can't share. Oh wait, I could share it, but without the. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What I will share right now is what I spent my time doing yesterday. Okay, and it was so absurd, but you know, it was fun for me at the same time. She might need a necklace with Amazon logo so she keeps up her contract stipulations. Does Amazon ever partner? Oh my god, I totally forgot. Technically, I have that Amazon affiliate program where you're supposed to be able to build like your own shop portal, or like I think you can put your own website together on Amazon. How did I forgot to do that. But yeah. Okay, let me show you guys. This is what I spent time doing yesterday. And I will say, as much as I've become more comfortable speaking without a script, you know, in this kind of fashion like I do with the live streams, it was still kind of nerve-wracking for me to film this. But you guys don't even know what I'm talking about, so hold on one second. Let's see. First, can I play this? Here, let's play this real quick. Okay. Let's see if you guys can hear this. Here we go, Nala. Ready? Let's blast this. So I recorded myself yesterday, and I did do the thing that Fedoresky was not a fan of. But listen, we got to try new things, right? So you can see here, I have the, what do you call it? I had my Rode Video Mic NTG shock. How do you say it? Rode Video Mic NTG shotgun mic. Is that the full name of the product? This guy here. So I tested with the shotgun mic with the dead cat, and that's what you see in this overhead shot here. And I just hooked it up to my iPhone. So I literally just put the iPhone on a stand, and I used the iPhone's voice memo, whatever it's called, to just do a recording. And because I think it sounded pretty good. Like the quality was great, and it was like less cumbersome than having to hook up the shotgun mic to my computer and then open up, like, I don't know, Adobe Audition or one of the other softwares and then record from there. I found just recording from my phone was just so much easier. And then I just airdrop it to my computer later. So that's what I tried. So that's, you can see my phone just peeking out here, or you can see the stand, and I just had the cable running through, and there I am. And then I was just talking into it like an idiot. Honestly, I felt like such an idiot doing this, but nobody else is at home, so it's fine. Rode NTG, isn't it? Asked Fed. Yeah, but there's like there's a few words that come in before that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so annoying, but it's like the where is it? Rode NTG shotgun mic, but it's like, it's got like Rode Video Mic or something. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Here it is. See? It's called the Rode Video Mic in one word. Video Mic. Video Mic NTG. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of. Because I have the other one, which is like a Video Micro. So it is part of the naming of this product, right? So it's the Video Mic NTG shotgun mic, which is annoying that they repeat the word, or, you know, it's got mic in it twice, right? Not the most logical name. But yeah, the Video Mic NTG. So we got this guy. And, oh yeah, see, iPhone and Android compatible. Okay, so I hooked that guy up, and then I shot this in 6K, which is definitely overkill, but I figured just in case for this like first few episodes, because my hope is that I can send this to the editor as well, and then try to see if it, like, we'll see. In an ideal scenario, I can send these over to the editor, and then we can work together to see, like, does he want to like zoom in on the shot at times, or do we always leave it in this kind of very, very wide angle establishing shot? In case he does want to punch in the shot sometimes for like creative flair, then I was assuming 6K would be better, obviously, because then you don't lose as much resolution. But also 6K does feel like it might be a bit of overkill, especially if I do a lot of these types of episodes going forward. So anyways, just sharing my thoughts and knowledge with you guys. I don't have the answer just yet. But as I was setting myself up, a couple things. One, you noticed that I lied. I lied to you guys. I initially said, I'm going to do this whole series, but I'm going to be on the floor. And I'll basically lie on the floor and talk to the mic and do this whole casual video series. I lied. I looked at my floor, and not that I'm a dirty person, but I realized I have zero desire to lie on my own floor where my feet always land, and I don't know. I have so much cat hair everywhere, and it just gets dusty, and the thought of just kind of lying on my back on my own floor for some reason felt oh yeah, but you know, it's not just me. Well, I always wear slippers around the house, so I do have like I'm not like a germaphobe, but it feels weird sometimes walking around barefoot in my own apartment, and it's not for bad. It's for good reason, is what I'm trying to say. I have 2 cats. They don't know how to shit and piss properly, right? They'll do their business in the little bathroom over there, but they don't always clean themselves properly. It's not like they know how to wash their hands and groom before they step out of the bathroom. They track that shit all over the apartment. And I like set up all these things, so hopefully by the time they get outside of the bathroom, most of all of their litter doesn't carry off with them, but it always does. It always does, right? And if you were to put a little light over everything in my apartment, you would see like a little layer of powdery footprints everywhere as they track their litter across the room. That's the practical nature of having cats, right? Unfortunately. So yeah, can you imagine, like, maybe it's invisible to me, but can you imagine there's all this like thin layer of litter on my floor, and unless I make sure I do a good job of cleaning everything before each time I record, I'm just like imagining yeah. Anyways, I'm going on too long about this. Fed says, if you're going to push a lot, 6K is nice. Yeah, especially for a wide angle shot like this. I assumed having that 6K would be worth it. But then the other thing that I'm trying to figure out here is I'm trying to make this not super... I don't want these episodes or the series to feel too polished. You know what I mean? In an ideal world, this can be like a version or like an inspiration from like the Moist Critical videos, right? The large YouTuber, where it seems like, I've seen plenty of his videos on YouTube, and for the most part, it's like well done, well done in the sense that like he just turns on the camera and just speaks into the camera, and that's it. Like there's no extra flair. There's not, B-rolls that he pops in here and there. There's no like background music. There's no title, text overlays, or animations. It's just like he turns on the camera and just starts talking, and then occasionally cuts up some of the, dead air or whatever. But generally speaking, it's just like off the cuff, whatever he's got on his mind. And I'm very inspired by that. I've had a tendency to say like, oh, I can't do this, or that's not my strength. I don't know how to do that. And while there's truth to it, one thing I've learned in this past year or two is that that's oftentimes your own like devil on your shoulder that you shouldn't listen to. Like I've learned so much, and I've gotten so much farther, and I feel more confident in who I am and like my skill set just from trying things that a past version of me would have been like, I can never do that. So even in this case where I'm like, oh, I don't think I could ever do something like what that YouTuber does, where it's like, oh, he can just be very charismatic and speak without a script, without bullet points, and just create good content. So that's kind of the level I want to get to. So that's kind of like the ambition, the goalpost that we want to hit. And so for this content, but like, you know, at the end of the day, I am still a photographer. I am a cinematographer now, or whatever words, right? So I do want the aesthetic to still look nice, or at least look like it was properly shot with like good colors and whatever, good framing or stuff like that. But I don't want it to be overly polished. So I need to find like a fine line there. Sorry, I'm speaking a lot just in random stuff. Fed says, if you shoot in 6K and reframe a lot, you will be the new David Fincher in no time. Yeah. And, you know, the other issue with doing this is that I'm running out of storage space, right? I got to freaking buy some more. I need more terabytes of, you know, portable SSDs or hard drives. So if I keep shooting this in 6K, that's the other issue I run into, or I'm going to have to start deleting stuff, right? So it's not in my interest to necessarily film all of this in 6K. But okay, I digress. I've kind of jumped the gun. But before I kind of break down this concept, let me play some cat ASMR for you guys. So let me blast this. Let's see. Here we go, Nala. Ready? Oh, that's super loud. My bad, guys. Okay, let's try that again. What about you, King Pop? Oh, cable's not long enough. Good girl. Oh, music to my ears, you know? I don't know if you guys could hear that properly, but okay. So that shotgun mic was beautiful for the cat ASMR, at the very least. And I think I just filmed a bunch of it. Hold on, let's see. Hopefully that comes out okay. Yes, good girl. Yeah, anyways, who asked? Everyone did. It's cat stuff. But yeah, I think this, so anyways, this is what I did yesterday. I just kind of set up the camera again, and I decided to try to shoot the first of this kind of series. And what else can I say about this? Well, like I said, I was supposed to be on the floor. I decided, you know what, let's not lie on the floor, because I have this perfectly good workout bench. Okay, I have this workout bench that is barely used because I haven't worked out on the bench. I rarely work out at home. Okay, so it was a fruitless endeavor that I thought maybe I can be one of those guys who, while I'm working from home every day, I'll just like, you know, hit the gym right next to me and be motivated. I have to go to a physical gym. I need like a large space to feel motivated, which I couldn't do at home. Let me put the music back on. Fed says, I shot the birds in 4K DX. Hold on one second. Testing, testing, testing. Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on. I got to turn this down over here. Testing, 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 testing. Cool. Okay. Testing. Fed says, I shot the birds in 4K DX Red Raw NE today and ended up with 128 gigabyte. Dang. I'm assuming, were you shooting at like 4K 120? Because like, obviously with birds, the slow motion always has a good effect. Yeah, what was I saying? I don't even remember. But so then, oh yeah, I have this workout bench, which I laid somewhat flat, and then I put this little blanket on top of it. And yeah, the other reason I realized that it's good to film on this bench is because it means that I'm a bit more eye level with my cats. So from like a focus point perspective, if the focus is on my face, it should mean that my cats are also fairly in focus, because I think I was shooting this at 2.8 aperture, and I didn't really want to increase the aperture or anything, because it's not like I had that much extra lighting. And yeah, so yeah, the bench worked out nicely, and I was also within arm's reach, so I can actually pet Nala much easier. So wow, win-win-win, and I don't have to touch the floor. So we're going with this angle. It looks ridiculous, but you know, let's see how it goes. So I have a few takes here where I was just kind of testing things out, and then this is the first one. So hold on, let's see how long it is. Let me just drag this over. Let's drag it over to here. So how long is this start to finish? From 5. Okay, yeah, there we go. So basically, this is one take that I did. I did several takes, obviously, but this is the one that made the cut. And basically, I did this kind of one take where I spoke into the camera. I gave my thoughts, context. Here's what's going to happen in these types of episodes. Here, basically, this is like I did a self-diagnosis of my YouTube channel and where I think I can make improvements. What's been going what are things that have been going well? What are things I need to improve? And then what is the goal for this year? Like, what are some of the things that I want to accomplish? So that was kind of the point of this mini episode, like the pre-episode. And then hopefully, then I'll continue using this format to make a bunch more content. So yeah. Fed says no, just the regular 24 frames per second. Gotcha. And that was 128 gigabytes. Can you imagine then filming that at 120 frames? Jesus. Welcome to my world, though. That's basically what I end up doing. Okay, so just for that extra bit of context, like I said, this episode, what did I talk about? There were 2 things that I brought up in this video where what's happened in this past year. So in the past year of my content creation journey, 2 things I've gotten way more comfortable at and more experienced at. One is my ability to make videos. So like my editing skills, the storytelling, color grading, all of that. I feel like I've drastically improved on a lot of those skill sets that are required. Obviously, I haven't perfected it yet, but I feel that much more confident and I'm much more comfortable now with the thought of making videos, which I wasn't a year ago. And so that's one of the huge plus, like the things that have happened this past year that has been a huge encouragement or a sign of encouragement for me to continue going down this path of trying to make these like cinematic content. The second very positive thing that's happened in the past year is that I've gotten way more comfortable speaking in front of a camera, doing these types of live streams, just feeling more at home or just very, very comfortable speaking. I'm still very rigid when it comes to like scripted content. And like I still haven't perfected it, right? But I've gotten more comfortable, and that was the main thing. I've been on this trajectory where I went from thinking I had zero ability to be in front of a camera and speak in a good way to now feeling I'm at least at, above average, whatever that number would be. So that's also giving me encouragement to continue down this path of content creation, but also this kind of like live stream world of being off script. And so those are the 2 kind of pathways that I've explored in the past year, and the 2 types of skill sets that I feel very proud of and satisfied in terms of the growth and the development. So nothing's going to change. I plan to do both of those. I'm going to continue doing both of those. But then in this video, I also briefly talk about the kind of the problems or the challenges I've faced with my YouTube channel, which is, generally speaking, I stretch myself way too thin. I'm doing way too many things at once, and I have a problem of not knowing how to let go of certain projects. So in that spirit, I end up doing a lot. I'm juggling a lot, and I don't drop anything, which I should. So I've been lacking a lot of structure with my YouTube channel. And like, if you think about the kinds of content that's being published on my channel, so one end of the spectrum would be like the cinematic stuff, let's say, for lack of a better word, but it'd be like the travel vlogs. It could be like these new product reviews. It could be these like the cinematic pieces. But usually those polished things that I publish take a long time to make. In my world, that could be like several weeks, right? A few weeks to make a good travel content piece or like a cinematic piece. And that's great. I love it. But imagine that's one kind of content that I publish. And then on the other end of the spectrum now, it's these live streams, which are the complete opposite, right? So if one end is very polished and scripted and structured and start, beginning, middle, and end, everything's thought through and takes a long time to make. On the flip side, I've got these live streams, which are very unpolished. There's no scripting, right? You're live. You can't rewind whatever you said. But it's a bit, it's more authentic. It's more organic. However, it's super long. It's oftentimes several hours, and I don't have content that's in the middle of the spectrum where I can take the best learnings of being live, which is like speaking to the camera in a more organic way and in a non-scripted way, but doing it in a certain direction or like with a certain intention or focus on a topic, right? That's something that I've been missing. So it's like right up until now, if you want to hear me, like the unscripted version of me is what I was saying. Like if you want to hear the unscripted version of me, you have to tune into a live stream. And that means you have to dedicate 4 or 5, 7 hours of your time. And not everyone is built for that. Not everyone cares to do that. Not everyone can do that in the background or whatever, right? Not everyone wants to watch a live stream. It's just different preferences. So then you wouldn't be able to get to know me or my thoughts on certain things unless you wait for me to publish something, 1 month later on it just takes a long time and whatever. So yeah, what if you want to hear my thoughts on something but not spend several hours to try to digest it? So that's the whole point of this kind of series that I want to create, which right now I am calling Behind the Lens until someone comes up with a better name. But basically this will be like the behind the scenes. This is where I'll get little bite-sized, it'll be like these bite-sized moments where you'll hear me, for the most part, it should be unscripted, and it'll just be similar to how I do these live streams, taking the best of these live streams, but doing it in a very condensed manner. So for instance, choosing the topic of whatever the video would be, and then hopefully the videos would only be like 3 minutes, 5 minutes long, just very, very short pieces. And it's not always meant to add value. It's not like, hey, watch this video and learn how to be better at this or that or whatever. Some of those videos, I think I will try to do that. So it could be like me sharing my learnings about, some of the mistakes I've made, or how I do certain things, or how to be better at, like those types of typical YouTube videos of like, listen to me, I have knowledge to share. So I'll definitely do that. But then the other types of content in this series would just be like getting to know me, right? So I will maybe pick some photo that I've captured or video or a moment from my travels where I can just spend a few minutes and let you guys know about like what were my thoughts, or here's the story behind how I captured this moment, things like that. Like things where you're not like taking notes and being like, oh, I've learned so much. Thank you, sensei, for sharing your knowledge. It's just like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that was the backstory. Thanks for sharing. But at least it's in a digestible format, and you guys can see it grow over time. And it's kind of like me sharing. It's like diary. What do you call it? Diary. There's a word I'm missing, but yeah, it's excerpts. There we go. I got it. It's like diary excerpts about my life. So, yeah, and we'll see. There's a chance that nobody in the entire world, including my mother, will give a shit about any of these things. But that's totally fine. In the same way that I decided to go into live streaming without a care about like, hey, what if no one wants to hear from me? It's whatever. I'm doing it for myself. I'm learning the technical requirements behind it. I'm hopefully gaining experience throughout the process. In the same way, I'm hoping doing this kind of series will make me even more comfortable just being in front of the camera and talking about anything, and just like trying to make this a bit more of like a branded DNA of my channel. So anyways, thank you very much for listening. So this is the backbone of what I filmed. There's a lot more. These are some of the other takes that I had, but yeah. So now the editor that I'm working with, he's already got his hands full with the other video, the Pidgeotech video. But again, like I said, that first draft turned out very, very impressively. Like, man, the difference in skill level from him compared to the other editors that I've been working with previously. And, I won't say their names, like I said, but it's like, look, I've been burned by these other guys, right? There's a lot of, yeah. So, but his skills are definitely super impressive. He was able to do certain things where the thing that I'm looking for in anyone that I want to be a part of like a team, right, is always feeling like these people are better than me on certain things that I feel inspired, and I want to like go to them to like, I just want to be able to ask them like, how'd you do this? Or like, that's so impressive, that kind of stuff. Because obviously you want to surround yourself around You want to surround yourself with super talented people that will motivate you to become like to be better, and also you will learn from them. And I definitely feel like this is one of those guys where I'm like, yo, how did you do that? Or like, it's not just the technical skills. It was nice that you had this thought process to intuitively turn this moment into something more artistic or more drawing certain types of emotions. So he definitely has that kind of a skill set. So fingers crossed, we'll look at draft number 2, and then hopefully I can publish this video soon. And then, yeah, and then fingers crossed that we can negotiate some kind of a long-term working relationship. But if we are able to work together, and if not, I'll do this myself, right? But if we are, then this would be like an example of something I would send over to him. And then hopefully he can punch it up ever so slightly to you know, add a slight polish, but not too much. And then it could be like a rinse and repeat template going forward. Okay, anyways, that is the Behind the Lens series. Now I want to get back into the meat of it, which is let's get through our travels. I am so far behind. We're still on Mongolia episode 2. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing me say each time like, oh, we're going to work on Mongolia episode 2. And yeah, but I also don't want to rush this, obviously, but I just got to dedicate time. So we're going to go through this now. Let me see here. I'm going to play this, and it should play through. Yeah, okay. So nothing changes here, right? Yeah, I think half is fine. Let's just play it from here. Oh yeah, I did want to, oh, that's what we were doing last time. Okay, I'm refreshing myself. I was starting to color or like recolor grade some of the past footage, but bearing in mind that a lot of these footage are not the raw files. These are ones that I've corrected already in terms of the colors, and then I've exported into a 422 HQ, just so it'd be easier for DaVinci to process these files. But this one we did recolor grade, and then this one we had done something before to it. It looks pretty good, so I don't necessarily feel like changing it. And then these guys, we did already color grade everything before. I don't have like a huge urge to necessarily like go through each one of these and redo them. I thought they looked pretty good already. So I think generally speaking, we can probably skip through all this. Yeah, these all look fine, I think. Okay, so then this one, how do we feel about this edit? I think this looks good, but I forget what we did to it. Because the other thing I needed to start doing, maybe I'll do the color grading at the end. That probably makes more sense. But now we're just going to go through each of the clips and see, do we have enough to make a decent B-roll here? So. Okay. And then I gotta figure out, I think this looks okay. So we got, I think the concept still makes sense, where I think I want to start with the title. So verse 1, we'll call it, it's kinship, and then having a quote around that. So the fire is small, the circle is wide. I think that works. And then the question becomes, do I add more text here to kind of give a little bit of the context of what's happening? Like, for example, here, you know, we were supposed to go out hunting, but then because of the weather, we all crowded into one of their homes where they immediately started to feed us, and you know, the festivities started. Basically, they cracked open the vodka, and then the whatever the instrument's called, I forget what it's called. And then obviously there's a lot of drinking and being merry. So do I add that context here via text or like, you know, some wording? Or do I just let it play out? And then the context either comes in the very beginning or in the intermissions. So those are kind of just thoughts that I have here, what I don't have the answers for. And then separately, let's start to map out which clips that we want to keep adding to here. Let me just drag. I think these are the ones that we had reviewed already. And then we have some time lapses. The time lapses could look nice. Okay, I think all of these, generally speaking, works. And then we have more here. Do we show? Okay, so kinship. This technically could work as well. So we see her playing, because I don't want it to get confused, because she obviously will perform a song later. But actually, no, that's fine, because it kind of sets it up that she's also a singer and she's having fun. Okay, because I like this shot a lot. And I think this still fits in the category of kinship. Oh wait, no, we'll want to start with this one. So you see her basically saying, no, I don't want to play. And then all of a sudden, next thing we know, she's playing, which is kind of fun. Or that's kind of funny, I guess. To me, it is. So like, no, I don't want to play. And then boom, there she is playing. And she is very good. So I think that works. And then obviously I want to just pick the best moments where she looks very happy. And then also I need some motion like this. So yeah, so I want like this kind of stuff here. So some part of that as I physically rotate it around her, if that's the right way to say it. And then there's a few moments here where she's smiling, which I think is worth keeping. Probably this clip. So let's bring that over. Okay. So these ones we might end up still using, but let me just put these away for now. Okay, and then this one she's looking at the camera, and she's like smiling, so I might want to keep this as well. Hold on. Let's see. This one's nice. I mean, this one's a feel-good shot. Okay, so now we have plenty to go off of. Okay, so then I think shots like this could go into the homestead one. Yeah, because this one feels a bit more serious, right? Or it's like, you know, you're digging in, but there's like this kind of feeling of home, you know, because we're eating together in a certain, like, you know, when they're praying for and stuff. So I feel like this might fit better into the homestead vibes, maybe, instead of kinship, you know? So I think we're going to drag those elsewhere. So let me grab these guys. No. Where'd it go? Yeah, these ones. And let's bring them over to wherever. Which one is it? This one. So in this section. Shit. Somewhere here. Okay. Wow, and I even put markers before. Nice. Good job, past me. I'm assuming this marker is where I stop the B-roll. Yeah, okay. Alright, so now we got a challenge ahead of us because I got a lot of clips remaining. Now these are time-lapse, so I can speed up even more. Okay, challenge accepted. Now what do we do? Let me think through this a bit. So let's start from here. Let me turn off the music. Okay, so we'll start from here again. Okay. So technically I could start this sooner. There is a moment in the song where you can kind of feel it pick up the first verse or whatever, or like it. I don't know how to describe music stuff. But there's like that moment where the emotion feels like we've set off, you know? So technically I could start the B-roll at that point. So let me mark this here just so I can remember. And then let's try it. So basically from here. So then marker number 2 would be here. And let's see how it looks if I started from there. Because then this gives me a bit more breathing space to put some of the remaining clips. So let's start over. Good. I like this. Or both can work, but this one feels a bit more it's more engaging because obviously you move to new clips sooner, whereas in the other one you had to, the visual didn't change for much, or I can't speak today. The visual didn't change until much later. So that means the visual just has to do all the heavy lifting with the singing. And I don't know if it's strong enough to retain people watching the whole time versus if I can start the B-roll sooner. So I think with the music change, it does feel fairly natural. So let me just kind of back it up a bit so I can get a sense of the pacing and the drama beforehand. So here the trailer's kicking off, so, you know, yeah, let's see. Okay, I like this a lot. I think the pacing's better. I've got half a mind when it comes to how to provide the additional context. Some of this is contingent on what do I voice over in the very beginning here, and whatever I voice over, is it understood enough? Is it effective enough to convey what the whole point of this video is going to be about, which is like, hey, there's 4 key things that I took away from my times with the Altai people that I want to share through their own words or through their own songs and through what I captured on camera. And so then, yeah, somehow I need to convey that. So how likely am I to convey that in the right words at the beginning here, where I only have how long? From about what, 15 seconds? No. So about, let's call it 16 seconds. So 16 seconds to convey what the whole purpose of what the rest of what they're going to watch is. And how likely is that? Or if it's not likely, then I say something a bit punchier here, but not too much needed for like contextual stuff and more just for the flair. Then after the trailer plays, the job of this opening has to be tight enough to then either through the text here in the center or through my voice, I have to basically give that context. So it's like, I don't have an answer. So this might require me to just keep watching this a few times. Because the other thing that we discussed was at the end of the song, once the song ends and we hit the first intermission, or during the intermissions is where I could provide that context, but it might come a little too late, right? For this first chapter or verse, I feel like I need to have voiceover beforehand to give the context. To give the context after the chapter ends feels a little too late, right? So at least for chapter 1, before this fully kicks off into the B-roll, I do feel like I need time to provide the context. Okay. Mindful says, hey folks, 6K is the new normal for 4K footage. I strongly believe that if it is uploaded to YouTube in 8K, the marketing is better. I've heard slightly same things where it's like, okay, because I do have a 5-hour footage. Remember, I have like 5 hours of chimpanzee, which I haven't published yet because I have to get through a few things here, whatever. But I have 5 hours of footage in a single video, and it's all upscaled to 8K because I don't think YouTube has a 6K option. And then the question was like, well, if you upload it to 8K, would YouTube be happy about that and be like, ooh, let's make sure to promote this video because it's showing up as an 8K and we like that. I don't know how the algorithm works, but it's a possibility where maybe it's better. I have no idea. But welcome, Mindful. Today's not meant to be the longest stream. I'm trying to be a bit more focused on getting some photo video editing done because I didn't have enough time to get normal work done today. So we're just doing, we're grinding. We're doing a mindful grind session today, mindful grind. The new MTV, Mongolian television. I would love the opportunity to film this sort of cultural get-together. Wow. Yeah, well, thank you, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. And the part of this thing I'm stressing about is I do want to make sure to do a good job of articulating their traditions and their culture and showcasing it in the most honest but like positive light. And the thing is, I didn't travel there with that in mind. So I'm doing a lot of like, what do you call it? Retroactively I'm trying to retrofit a story into the footage that I captured, but without the intent when I captured it. You know what I mean? I just went there and I filmed whatever I felt like filming, and I had no intention of why I was traveling there. It's not like I knew anything about the people that live there or their way of life. I just heard like, oh, I wanted to go to Mongolia. I heard there are these like eagle hunters. I just want to go out there and see how that is. And that was it. Now now that I feel more experienced, now I feel more like a quote unquote filmmaker. For future trips, that is definitely top of mind for me, where it's like, what is the actual story angle that I want to dive into or try to capture, and then film and get all the shots around that storyline. Unfortunately, for the whole like year and a half of me traveling that I was capturing a lot of these footage, it was usually just with no intent besides just capture whatever I see. So this is going to be part of the challenge where I am retrofitting artistic stories to things that maybe it doesn't belong, or I don't have all the shots necessary to do it justice. So fingers crossed. Fed says, I went out today and shot. Oh, yeah. So Fed went out, shot with the new, I said the new, with the Nikon 50 to 250 in the, what'd you say? It was like APS-C cropped to like 300 and, I forget what you said, millimeter focal length. Mindful says, precisely why I made the handle mindful grinds. It is a good tag. It's a user tag, man. I like it. We'll look at it this way. If you have all the footage you possibly can have, you can always tell the story later. But if you don't have the footage, you can't tell the story. Yeah, it's like you got to start somewhere type thing, right? And without, when I started filming or when I had the interest to film, I didn't know the first thing about how to film or like how to tell a story. So the only thing I could do without, somehow cramming in years of film school knowledge or experience, which I can't, I was like, F it, I'm just going to go there and film everything. Just try to film everything, and then hopefully I'll learn as I go. So yeah, I agree with you. It's not like there was a better option for me, but I just want that is in the back of my mind where it's like, okay, if only I could rewind time, if I could go on this trip again, I would 100% have had this in my mind, and I would have made sure to get like clean audio of certain songs. I would have asked my guide to be like, oh, are there different singers that we can visit? What is the actual name of the song? What is the story behind this song, right? And I would try to be more like selective of like, can I cleanly capture X number of songs by X number of singers in X number of environments that represents X number of traditional ways of life of the people, right? You get what I'm saying? I would have 100% done that. And I guess I could technically do that. I could always go back to Mongolia and do this again, which I have a mind to do, by the way. But so anyways, so I agree. The 75 to 375 millimeter, really in the full frame reach. Great vibration reduction on it. I shot it all handheld. Yes, and you said you'll share it on your YouTube channel when you're done with it. So, okay, let me play this out again. Actually, let me play from the beginning because I need to see how much time do I have to like give the vocal context. In my time in blah, 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 I got to spend this and learned a lot about the culture of the Altai people. In this video, you'll hear more about their way of life through their songs. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so obviously I was just BSing a bunch of words there, but like I basically I was just trying to get into a cadence of saying words to see like, oh, does it fit to have like a few sentences? And in that sentence, can I convey, I spent time with the people in the Altai Mountains. I was fascinated by their culture and I wanted to tell their story, but I decided in this video, you will hear more about their way of life through their own words and through their songs, right? So hopefully that's enough context in the beginning, and I need to end it in a nice dramatic way to fit with the trailer kicking off. And then once the trailer ends and as the first chapter begins, maybe instead of hearing my voice to continue the context, maybe I just need the text to keep appearing in the center to continue providing that context. Like, so after you see it's called kinship and like a quote, maybe I'll continue having some text pop up in the center where it's like, in this first verse, as we listen to the hunters singing the song, blah, blah, I don't know. I have to figure out. Maybe there's enough space and time for me to provide it, just that extra level of context of like, this verse is dedicated to the kinship that I witnessed amongst the hunters of the Kazakh, I don't know. Yeah, so maybe that's something like that, right? And then you're hearing the song anyways. So I think that works, I think. All right, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. I still need the title of this video. I don't know if it's going to be called Songs of Mongolia. So then here I would just keep the text showing up in the center, provide that extra level of context until the B-roll kicks in. Okay, so now we've given ourselves a bit more space to put in these other clips. Okay, before I jump into that, I gotta double check if I have enough clips for one of the other verses. Let's see here. The homestead one, where's the homestead? So homestead, for that one, I guess I can also use some of the shots of the dog. It's part of the family, right? So we get some of the dog shots being cute. That could work, but you know, I can't show too much of that. What else can I show? Oh yeah, I could show the food. I guess the food kind of can fit into the theme of homestead, right? What else can fit? Did I have? Obviously any of the kid shots, so these things for sure. The family. So basically, yeah, I'm thinking of the home and the family. So what shots do I have that shows that? I got some of these cute shots. This is more the hunting. Come on, what else do I got? Bum, 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 bum. Family, give me family. I mean, the kid is in the shot, but it's not necessarily what we want to share. Yo, we got DTK in the chat. DTK over on YouTube says, good morning. Are you out now shooting eagles? Oh yeah, Fed's asking Mindful if he's... Oh yeah, was it supposed to be today? Hello DTK, what are you working on today? Today is a more focused session. So I will be doing a lot of... I just want to get through some of the video editing for my trip to Mongolia. So I had done the first episode several months ago at this point, and I want to finish part 2. So I'm looking through some of the footage that I have to see what I can use. Did I already have the shot? Hold on. I think I already showed that. Yeah, so I'm just looking through some of the footage. I want to share, yeah, I just want to share my time in Mongolia because I've been sitting on this for way too long. So hopefully we can get this done this week, and then we can move on to the next country and the next country and the next one. We have so much more to go. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we have where to go. This is good. So we got clips of the family. So we got the kid here. What else? I should probably clip this up, but I just want to quickly see and make sure. Oh yeah, here we go. So we got her cooking or making the food. So that would fit into the homestead family chapter. This could fit as well because the eagle is technically part of the family, the way they, you know, the way it is in their culture. I kid you not. Oh, DTK says just use ripple, delete, silence. Oh yeah, because DTK, you're a proper video editor, so you can teach us. Just use ripple, delete, silence. I've never used that. I know there are some shortcuts I should make use of to like delete spaces in between and jump around and stuff, but I have not done that yet. So perhaps I should. Give me a second. What do I need to do here? Hold on. Sorry, give me a second. I'm trying to fix something. If you ripple, delete, silence, your audio will not match your video. I have run into that issue quite a bit where I hit some shortcuts and I accidentally delete something I shouldn't. DTK asks, how is the rodecaster working? It is working very well, but oh no, you know what? I shouldn't say it like that. I haven't tested it since last stream. So yesterday I spent all day filming this new series that I want to do. So I literally just haven't had time to continue testing the rodecaster. And then today I didn't do any work before starting today's stream. Or I did work. I worked to be a normal human being and socialize. So I caught up with some people, went out, saw the sun, grabbed some coffee, you know, learned how to speak to another human being again. So in that sense, that was good work, but I didn't do any like, you know, video stuff. So that's why I figured for today's stream, I do want to be a bit more vigilant about like, let's just get some work done. I'll try my best not to get too distracted. So I haven't played around with too much of the rodecaster stuff. I'll do that for the next stream where, you know, there's so much I still need to test with getting the rodecaster set up. But yeah, for now, I just wanted to chill and do some proper video editing. So I'm just going through these clips. I gotta make sure I have enough family related footage. Yeah, it's all like food making stuff, but that's part of the vibe. And then I have to see it. Do I have other kid shots? I could see the time lapse fitting in the family one as well, maybe. Oh, and then homestead. So maybe if I have some footage of the actual home, you know, like what it looks like walking around. So we'll see. DTK says I forgot about that. What do you use for film emulation? So I had a company reach out to me. I use Dehancer. So Dehancer had reached out to me. When did they reach out to me? Dehancer reached out to me a few months ago, right? And they do like the proper film emulation stuff. I'm assuming you know about them since you said that. I didn't know anything about them, okay? I didn't know anything about anything. I still don't know anything about anything. But it was really cool because when they reached out to me, you know, I think they were one of the first ones to reach out to me about like collaboration or like working together or like, hey, would you like to test my product? That kind of thing. I think they were one of the first ones, if not the first one, where I was like, oh, this is like a real company. Because before that, like the only time someone reaches out to me when it's like either spam or it's not like something worth, yeah, it's not exciting. Like either you don't think it's real or it's not really what I need as a fit. So when it turns out it was like a real company reaching out to me and it's Dehancer, and as I was looking more into it, I was like, oh, this could actually be a useful product for me to test. And again, there's a few people in the chat when I was even bringing this up in the beginning, like, oh, there's this company called Dehancer reach out. And they're like, oh yeah, we know about Dehancer, or yeah, I know this, it's really good, blah, blah, blah. So it was really nice that that they reached out. They, yeah, so they gave me access to the product and then just wanted me to make a review. And it's been cool because like a few companies have now reached out to me, and this model is very nice where it's like, I have yet to have a company reach out and say like, you have to say this, you have to say that. Or whatever. It's just always been like we can give you access, or we'll give the product to you for free, and in return just give us an honest review, and like nothing else involved. And in addition, they gave me like what do you call it, promo codes and stuff, right? So Dehancer, I don't even remember, do I have what's the Dehancer thing? Does it work? Oh, let me type it in here. Dehancer. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you don't have Dehancer and you would like to, they gave me a promo code, which is Yobel Prize, and you get 10% off when you go into the checkout page for Dehancer. So that was cool of them, right? So yeah. And so I made a video about them recently where I just kind of show, here's how it works, what I like about it, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, can't complain. So Dehancer was the one that reached out. So we use that for the film emulation. Now, Fedorevsky in the chat. So we have a lot of people on the YouTube side who are proper video editors, cinematographers, that color grade, that kind of stuff. But I know Fed mentioned that he just purchased another film emulation software, which is like, I think you said it's called Genesis or something, but like, you know, apparently it's like the more expensive, more premium version apparently. So yeah, so Fed's been using that. I've got my Dehancer. I'm very happy with it. Man, the quality's been fantastic. I've been using it like on all of my stuff of late. So feel free to check out my Dehancer review that I published onto my YouTube channel. So enjoy that as well. 1 second. Give me a second. Let me test something here. Okay. I apologize. I ended the vertical stream. So if you're watching on the vertical stream, it is now ended. That wasn't exactly intentional, but whatever. We got the landscape one, so it's not, you know, we're still live. Did I break anything? Let me see. Everything is still working, so okay. Yeah, so anyway, sorry, I was getting distracted. So I ended the vertical stream, so feel free to join on the landscape stream on YouTube. And then Twitch is still good. What was I saying though? Oh yeah, so Dehancer is what I use for film emulation. I also use... Actually, no, that's the only plugin that we use for DaVinci, I think. Is there anything else? Yeah, so just Dehancer. And then for photo editing, we had a company reach out called Skylum, and they do like this, it's called Luminar Neo. So I do want to keep testing out that product as well. Because so far it's been pretty fun. And then Dehancer also I use for the photo editing. So, all right, so we have all of these footage, which I think these ones fit into the hunting theme. So not the homestead. Yeah, this is all around hunting. Hunting, hunting, hunting. Ooh, family. Give me family. Where was it? Family. Well, maybe not that part. Okay, here we go. Adorable kid.
Thank you.
Although it's very brief.
Moonray.
Okay, so I can show some of these shots for the homestead to give here's life in Mongolia, the family vibes, the Yeah. What else we got? Yeah, I think this time lapse could work for that one. And then, is there any other? Maybe this time lapse. Yeah, I think this one works because the other ones were when we're all drinking and like being festive, whereas this is more like the home, eating a meal together, family, that kind of stuff. Fed says, yeah, don't shell out all those bucks for something premium like Filmbox. I've never heard of that. Filmbox or Genesis, unless you really need it and know you're going to need it on a lot of projects. Dehancer is good enough for most things. Man, I'm proud of myself for remembering it's called Genesis. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. I use Film Look Creator, says DTK. Film Look Creator in Resolve is more than good enough as well for most things. Film Look Creator. Gotcha. What is that? Film Look Creator. The Film Look Creator in DaVinci Resolve is a powerful built-in Resolve FX tool that simplifies achieving cinematic film-like aesthetics. Gotcha. Okay. And it's built in, is it? Or native? Or interesting. Well, that's good, man. And listen, DTK, you know, the work you did, if that's what you, yeah, like, I think sometimes we run into a problem. I'm guilty of this all the time, by the way. Everyone is, I think, to a certain extent. I think we get distracted by the shiny toy, right? You follow one shiny light until the next shiny toy and the next shiny light, and you're just constantly chasing after the shiny object. And this is just it starts from childhood and it continues into adulthood, especially as you have your own bank account and your own money to spend and waste. And there's nothing wrong with it per se, as long as you're being responsible. But I think the issue from a creative perspective and from like a development perspective is sometimes you might jump the gun and get the shiny object that lets you do the really cool things, but it's a shortcut where you skip a lot of the learnings that you need by doing the hard work, by doing it the traditional way, or by doing it the hard way, or whatever, right? By doing it step by step, there's a lot of like foundational knowledge and experience that maybe you won't get as good output and outcomes right away, but your ceiling is much higher because you learned the fundamentals the right way and didn't take those shortcuts. So I think this is always like a balance you have to do. And I feel, I'm glad DTK, you're in the chat because since you're young, okay, or younger than me, I feel like I can finally convey and instill some wisdom to you, all right? But yeah, I think that's something to always keep in mind, is that you should feel more proud when you're able to get stuff done with less, right? But it's like, you should also look for things that will make your artistic and creative skills easier and inspire you. Sometimes it's nice to get the shiny object that lets you do this kind of color grading or something even better, because then that keeps you motivated and makes you continue to stay excited in whatever passion you're pursuing. But yeah, don't always feel like you need the shortcuts. Now, if I could have figured out how to say that more succinctly, that is a big goal of mine. Is I tend to be verbose, especially now that I'm going to try to do these bite-sized behind the lens series. Either I continue being verbose, which means I can definitely create a bunch of 7-8 minute long videos, or I learn how to be more concise and I make punchier 3-minute, 5-minute videos. So wish me luck. Mindful says I use Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere. Yeah, I really like Final Cut Pro. As it's hard. It's not a good apples and orange comparison, because each time I picked up one of these programs, I was at a different place in terms of my knowledge base of filmmaking and video editing. But when I started doing Final Cut Pro a few years ago, I found that the program was very intuitive. It just felt like you didn't need too many instructions to understand what's where and how it works. Whereas I thought that Adobe Premiere was so impossible to understand. I still to this day feel like Adobe Premiere and Photoshop are these two tools, these programs where it's like learning a foreign language to me. I just can't figure out the visual mapping in my mind of how everything fits where, like the whole layering system. I get layers now, but it was like a mental block for me. Whereas Final Cut Pro felt much easier. And then DaVinci, I don't know if it's more intuitive or not, because when I picked up DaVinci, that was when I was more intentional about learning the program. So I was watching proper YouTube videos step by step, and I was a bit more intense about getting practice in. So yeah. If you're doing film emulation on all your okay, we're done with this. Let's go back to editing. Fed says, if you're doing film emulation on all your professional projects, Genesis or Filmbox makes sense. They save you a lot of hours of work, but it's a good idea to learn Resolve node work first. Gotcha. You have a lot to say, and that is good. Yeah, you know, I was telling you, I was catching up with a good friend of mine, and because he's also a YouTuber, you know, he is the opposite of me because he is very intentional with each word that he says. So he says more with less. And I was telling him like, yo, that's a good thing. And like, you know, but he was actually saying, no, me, like Yo Bell, you are better for YouTube because you can speak a lot. And that's just a better style for YouTube, which I take as a compliment. But to me, I think both works. I find people who can say more with less to be way more impressive. I think it's a better skill set in life. I think so. And so a lot of what I've been trying to do over the past few years is learn how to be more concise. The live streaming has kind of stripped that away in some ways, because with the live streaming, yeah, you do want to fill in a lot of dead air with words. But yeah, it's a good skill set to have. So anyways, what am I saying? Fed says, I was playing around with what you mentioned, just grading Red Raw from scratch yesterday. It's been ages since I tried it. Nice, nice. Mindful says, dude, I'm running a 2019 MacBook Pro with the Intel chip. Sorry, I'm laughing, but because like it just brought some memories when I was trying to do some heavy edits with, what did I have? I think I had the 2019. Yeah, it might actually, was it the same thing? Previous to the M1s and all the whatever chips that they got. Final Cut Pro runs well, especially with ProRes and even Red Raw, even on this old machine. Dang. Yeah, the Mac, people are, I feel like, actually no, this is probably changed by now, right? But I feel like for the longest time, people were sleeping on the Mac products for these like heavy duty processing stuff. Or like when you think of like the live streaming world, I don't know anyone who says that they do live streaming from a MacBook. It always felt like you have to build your own PC. Everyone's got their custom PC. That's like whatever RAMs with this product and a cooling engine and blah, blah, blah. It always sounds so complicated. And meanwhile, I mean, I did spend a crazy amount of money on it, but even with the MacBook Pro, in these past few years of what's been released, they are so powerful. So yeah, I agree. DTK says, I'm going to start vlogging. Yeah, man, dude, you are very inspiring, man. Again, 13, and you're making like informative videos. That's so crazy. Because when you think of these like tutorial videos and stuff, generally speaking, you're thinking it's like someone 20 years older than you or something, right? And the fact that you're doing that now means that you're setting yourself up for success. Because yeah, I think that's just a good skill set to learn how to speak with confidence about different topics and feel like you're actually conveying knowledge to another person is that skill will never disappear as something that's required. So man, you're starting young. I wish I did that. Okay, so these shots will be part of the homestead. And then oh yeah, this will be like the goodbye shots. So as we say farewell to the episode and to Mongolia, these shots would fit in there. Yeah, these are all the goodbye shots. And then we get our final airport fly in, and there is Dubai. Look at all that pollution. I don't know if that's pollution, but whatever it is. Flying back home. Oh man, I think I've already shared this story, but I had this whole I thought it was funny. But yeah, Mindful says, I've just been finding that I like the look just by getting a process with wheels and curves. Yeah. I used a MacBook for streaming. Thanks. My mom does not think so. You know what? You should always listen to your mom. And I think I would generally agree with her of saying like maybe she doesn't like that, just because it's so different, right? The generations are so different. Obviously you guys were born with crazy technology since as long as you had memory. You're surrounded by iPads and digital tech in every direction. So it's just like second nature for you. And it's just a part of your DNA. Whereas like for your mom's generation, which might be mine or like whatever, we kind of grew up with bicycles. Do you know what a bicycle is, DDK? Yeah, I'm kidding. But yeah, we had analog. So it feels like sometimes if you spend too much time in the digital world, you have this fear that that's actually bad, right? Like, and I think that's probably true, although it depends what you're doing in that digital world. So I think you're doing the right thing, DTK, where you're immersed in digital tech early. You're on YouTube at 13 and you're making tutorial videos. You're doing these editing things at a young age, but you're not doing, like you're not wasting time. Like, you could be video gaming and stuff, which has its purpose and has its time, but you're actually like learning skills in the digital world. So I think that's the best your parents could ask for. You're not being like, hey mom, I want to spend more time on the computer, on my phone, to just waste away playing video games and try to be the best, whatever, become a Fortnite competitive gamer, right? So Mindful says younger is better. I hit 47 for April. I want to go hiking and my body says nah. Yeah, maybe DTK, do some vlogging, but to convince your mom it's for the better, tell her you want to start vlogging while going hiking, as Mindful says, like doing physical activity and just like documenting it. She's not a fan of my hobbies. I actually did not use an iPad until I was 8. Gotcha. I think that's good, man. I'll be 46 in June. Oh, you guys are similar then. Nice. You're right, says DDK. I am always right. Yeah, I tried gaming for a while, but it did not make my life any better. I think gaming is okay. I feel like I've learned a lot of skills from certain types of games. Some of them is not as direct in terms of what you learn from it, but I mean, a little bit is like dexterity and hand-eye coordination. I don't know, but reflexes, maybe there's stuff like that. But also, I think it trains your imagination. I think that's the value of reading books. I think it's the value of TV shows, just any story, consuming stories, right? And that could be in the form of a video game. It could be in the form of whatever, right? I think those things are all good because it is like it's like a mental exercise, like going to the gym for your mind, expanding the muscles of your imagination by just like constantly visualizing different worlds and like understanding different points of view from the characters in a story or in a video game and all that kind of stuff. I think it all has its purpose. I don't think it's always like a waste, like video gaming or something. Actually, I saw there was a study recently, or there's like a headline. Let me be honest, I only read the headline, but there was something about like, there's a study that people who watched anime growing up, something positive. I already forgot, right? I wasn't paying that much attention, but it was something about like, hey, if you were someone who watched anime, it had some positive outcomes. And I think it was something to do with, because a lot of these animes, they're about resilience, right? The storylines are usually about overcoming adversity, challenges, doing the impossible. By like consuming those types of stories, it helps you empathize and imagine yourself in that character's shoe, dealing with some kind of crazy suffering and learning how to become stronger, stay positive, and fight through it, right? It was something to that effect where it's like, because that tends to be most anime, right? Where the storyline tends to be, you become a superhero, you were a nobody, and then somehow you blah, 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 and then boom, right? And so I can imagine even something like that where maybe your mom or your parents would be like, why are you watching all this like cartoons and anime stuff? It's not good for your brain. It's not like, it's like wasting time. But it's like, no, you are training your mind. You're letting your mind escape into different worlds, and it's like an invisible gym exercise you're doing for this like invisible muscle. So yes, everything can have value. Just be intentional with it. DTK says, I have a big imagination. Yeah, man, that's good. There's like a fear that as you get older, your imagination starts to shrink because you learn more about the real world. Like, for instance, oh, Santa Claus isn't real. Or, sorry, I don't know if you still think that. I'm kidding. 13, I think you're fine. But yeah, as you start realizing the things that you grew up as a kid thinking was possible, you realize is impossible. You can't fly. Ghosts aren't real, or whatever those things are. It starts like, it's like these like walls start slamming down inside your imagination, which starts creating these boundaries that you can't escape now because you're realizing this is impossible. This is impossible. And so your imagination starts to shrink if you don't exercise it. And I think that's the trap a lot of adults fall into. A lot of my peers fall into is like not training your imagination and your creativity the same way you would train your mind on other things. Like we read these books, self-help books, you read educational books, you read nonfiction, autobiographies. And a lot of people do that kind of reading. Why? Because you're learning from their stories, or you're learning facts, you're learning knowledge. And I think that's true. It's helping you build up your brain, right? But then people are neglecting the imagination, the creativity stuff, and treating it like it's child's play. Like, oh yeah, I don't need this fictional adventure movies or stories and stuff. That's a waste of time. I disagree vehemently. And I do attribute a lot of my own feeling of creativity to the fact that I didn't treat it as like a waste of time. Okay, hopefully all of what I'm saying makes sense. But Vampire Hunter D. I never watched that. Was the only anime I watched. I watched anime as a kid too, LOL, in the 80s and 90s. I need to watch more of those old school anime stuff. Hold on one second. I feel like on my camera, I see... I might need to increase this. One second. There we go. Okay. I think I was overexposed a little bit. Let's bring this back. I watched soccer anime. What is the soccer anime? That's what happened when I read books. Yeah, man. Books are probably the best. That's like the best invention ever. You know what I mean? So definitely never stop reading. No, I don't think he's real. Sorry, I was just kidding, man. I did not think about those things at all. Yes, I'm here to instill wisdom, DTK, okay? I'm one of those good guys on the internet that your mom tells you to listen to, not the ones to not listen to, I swear. We had Robotech on TV when I was a kid. That's like an American edit of Macross. Robotech and Macross. I've never heard of either. Looks good to me. Can you rate another color grade? Yeah, send it over, man. Books are fire. I also watched Ulysses 31, which was a Japanese-French co-production anime series. Man, you guys are on another you guys are on another level. Quick story time here. This bag, I remember filming it because I got nervous because this is my bag, right? Like I bought this it's like bright yellow bumblebee style because I figured it would stand out. And who else would want to buy a bag like this, right? It's ugly. But when it comes to like airport stuff, you want the ugly thing that stands out because then no one else can mistake it as theirs, and no one else wants to steal it anyways. So then I saw my bag coming through, and it was fully wrapped in this like the saran plastic wrapping thing, and I was like, I didn't do that, right? And so my mind started going like, oh my god, did the airport staff like inspect my bag and stuff? And so then I get the bag, and so I started recording just instinctively, just in case, for evidence. So then I started ripping apart this plastic thing, and I was just getting like, man, why did they do this? And you guys probably know where I'm going with this, but I swear to you, in my mind, I thought it was like, I couldn't think of any other alternative of what was happening here. So just for evidence, I was filming everything to be like, what if they did something to my bag and I need it on camera, right? So I was getting paranoid. And here, I think, I'm trying to remember my thoughts, but I think I was panicking a little bit when I opened up that first zipper, because I was like, I swear I put a lot more stuff in that first zipper. And it was all, like, gone. It's like, how dumb can I be? Like, you're watching in real time how my brain could not process any other alternative to what the hell was happening to me. Like, what happened to my bag? Yeah, and that's where I realized it. Basically, I stole someone else's bag and I started ripping it apart and opening up all the zippers. It turns out there is some other idiot out there that's decided to think like me and get the same looking ugly yellow bag. And was on the same flight as me too. So just a lot of funny coincidences, because I didn't think anyone else would buy this ugly ass thing, and here we are. And so I felt so the level of, I don't know, shame, or not shame, but there's like a, oh shoot, it was like embarrassing. I was like, oh no, I hope that guy isn't, whoever this isn't looking for their bag and thinks that I took off with it, right? But yeah, so that was not my bag. And then I think this part 2, I'll end it with me heading back home. So this is my old apartment. Daddy's home. And usually I would like to film when I enter, just to see if my cats would say hi. Back. Do they come back? Usually, oh, you can see Nala. So, oh yeah, both of them were just chilling up on these little window beds. Yeah, do they come down to say hi? Usually Nala will rush over to me whenever I come home. And then Kimbap acts like he doesn't even know who I am. It's, you know. DTK says it's just a frame. Oh yeah, send it over. Let me know if it's there. Can you watch it but not on stream? Oh yeah. Okay, I can watch it off stream for sure. Robotech, or Macross as it is called in Japanese, is anime with manned aircraft that transform into robots. Oh, so this is like the OG Transformers. Dang. Nala. Kimbap. Look at these guys. They're just staring. Hi? There we go. And here they come. Come and say hi. Hey, yeah. Kimbap. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Nala. Good girl. Man, every cat owner probably goes through the same feelings. Dogs are different. You know dogs love you. If you're a cat owner, you're just like, do my cats actually love me? Or do they love the food that I give them? And then also, will they eat me if I ever die? You know, like how long will they wait before they eat me? So those are like the thoughts you have. So every time I come home, I'm never sure, like, do my cats actually love me? Will they be happy to see me? All that kind of stuff. So it always feels nice when they finally do come over and say hi. Oh, you look skinnier. You lose some weight. Got to fatten you up, buddy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, anyways, I won't play the audio in the actual video. It's just probably just going to show this as I enter back home. And then the end. There we go. So, okay, I think we have enough footage of the like home related vibes. So I think we're okay. And that's it. Okay. I put in the videos. Okay, let me check it out. You said you don't want me to play it on stream, yeah? Or I can just watch it. Let me see. Rate this grade for me. Okay, here. Let me. Can I play it from here? Yo, man, this looks great. Just from what I'm watching over on my other monitor here. Okay. I'm not the best expert to kind of break down what is considered good color grading or things like that. But just from the video you sent me very briefly, I like this kind of teal bluish tone that you have on the full video. And I think, because I did read somewhere, or I think maybe I watched a YouTube video where they talked about, perhaps it's common knowledge, it wasn't to me until recently, but like there's this teal and orange combination that a lot of people like to use in terms of the color, like a duotone thing. And apparently there's like science behind it as well in terms of like how these colors seem to resonate with the average person. So I do like that your choice of colors here with the text being in that kind of orange tone and then having this like bluish, what would you call it? Like a bluish haze to everything. And yeah, man, I can't hear the audio. I'm just playing the video just to see the colors, but you're doing this really well, man. You're doing some good stuff. Dang. Yeah, I think the colors look fantastic, dude. I like, I'm looking at the shot here around 25 seconds where you can see you're in your patio or somewhere and then you can see the sunlight behind you. And we learned these new techniques, or I can understand now that there's a bit of that halation effect that's coming through from the sunlight. And I think it's cool. It adds a nice little, kind of like a soft glow around you as you're speaking. So, and the lighting is good, man. Like, yeah. What did you shoot this with? What So DTK, what camera were you using to film yourself? It looks really good, man. Congrats. Good stuff, man. DTK says, did you know it was shot on an action cam? Oh, so you filmed yourself with the same action camera. Dang, that's crazy. Man, these cameras are getting so good. But I mean, obviously you did the good job of like turning I'm assuming you shot this in log then. And you did a really good job, man. Fed says you see it in tons of movies, even certain old film stocks lean that way. Yeah, like I think maybe I forget whatever YouTube video or something I was watching where they explained it. I was like, oh yeah, I see. And then once they explain it to you, you see it everywhere. And I was like, oh okay. So I was late to the party in terms of learning that piece of knowledge, but yeah, I guess the orange and teal combination works really well. So. But that's all I know. I don't know any other combination of colors that I should rely on. But DTK says, yes, I did. I love I love log. Yeah. DTK, how long have you been learning how to edit and film, right? So clearly you know how to film things and you know how to edit. Can I ask how long in your young life did you spend learning the craft? Because I swear every time you share and like share your work, I'm just like, what have I been doing, man? What is going on here? The new generation are like really, hopefully more kids are like you, man. Because yeah, you guys have to fix a lot of things that us older generations have destroyed for you. Okay, this is a cool shot, but I don't know which vibe. Oh, this could go into the hunt, maybe. This can go into the hunt. All right. Okay, so we do have enough footage. So let me go back to this guy and see what I want to keep. I do want to show, let's see. Let me think. I'm trying to think if there's like a story to the B-roll. Like, is there a natural progression of shots that I'm showing? So there are a few things that I'm trying to convey in the B-roll. Is one, festivities, right? Like camaraderie. It's called kinship, right? This chapter is kinship. So you want to see a bunch of these people hanging out together, having a good time. And through the beginning, and ideally I can sprinkle it almost throughout, or at the very least I want to make it front loaded, is like the drinking. Because obviously when you think of festivities and kinship, if you're like drinking together, that's a good sign that you are bonding together, that kind of stuff. And drinking is a universal language. Not for you, DTK, you're too young for that. But overall, like that's how you tend to, how do you bond in any culture? It's usually around drinking, let's say. So if I can start by showing the shots being poured, being drunk, shot after shot, so it kind of conveys this feeling like we were taking massive numbers of shots, which I guess we were, right? We were downing that bottle and, you know, filling up the glass every time. So then hopefully as you're listening to the song and seeing the B-roll, you're feeling like it is a proper montage of a lot of time passing where we're just having a grand old time, getting drunk together, people singing, playing the instruments and all that fun stuff. So that's like the key thing I want to have come across in this B-roll section. And I need to figure out the right timing, like how much spacing do I need between each time you see a shot of the vodka glass being poured, how many times you see someone drinking. So that's the kind of things I'm trying to pay attention to, depending on how many shots I have to play with. Because I don't think I have that many. Oh wait, hold on. Is this shot longer? Let me see. Oh yeah. So maybe, do I want to keep the shot where I'm drinking it? We could make it longer. So okay, let me keep that in mind. DTK says, I have been doing it for a year and a half. Yo, that's great. That's good stuff, dude. Good. Congrats, DTK. I don't know if other people your age are doing what you're doing. I'm curious. I guess I don't know anything about your generation, but like, are your friends, are your peer, are they also doing what you're doing? And like, is that what inspired you to get into like making videos and stuff? Or do you know, are you the only one in your friend group and like in your class or whatever that's trying to make a YouTube channel and streaming and all that? I'm assuming a lot of kids are trying to be live streamers. That would make sense. But I don't know how many are trying to actually learn how to color grade and edit, use DaVinci, all that. But yeah, either way, the fact that you're doing it now is definitely a good thing. Fed says, you learn about complementary colors in art school. If you search for complementary colors, you will see charts. Thank you for saying that. Complementary colors. I forgot that kind of verbiage. Yeah. I didn't go to art school. I did boring school, man. I just did technically I got my bachelor's in the arts and science, but you know, I wasn't like an artist in that sense. It can be done in set decoration also. DTK says, I'm very too young. I do not want to drink in my life anyways. That's the way. Listen, everyone says that. Yeah, don't drink though. It's disgusting anyways. Yeah. But people say that about coffee too. You know, they'll be like, oh, coffee tastes bad. But you know, listen, it's just, that's how you know you've become an adult, when you've accepted the pain that is life, where you're just drinking things that are disgusting and enjoying it. Okay, that's just the way life is. Enjoy, cherish your childhood, TTK. There are other people. I just like making videos. That's good, man. When surveyed, live streamer or influencers. Okay, let me try that again. Okay. Fed said, when surveyed, live streamer or influencer is at the top of the list for kids today. Yeah, that feels inevitable. And I still can't make up my mind. Actually, no, it probably is a little bit depressing. That probably isn't a good thing. That would be at the top of the list. Because, yeah, actually, that's a very bad thing. What am I talking about? What does a kid know about... Sorry, I don't mean to talk down to you in particular, DTK, because I think you're doing things better than adults are at this point, at least skill set wise. But overall, for the average person, because this is a study about on average, let's say, right? What does the average kid know about life enough, like in terms of being a professional at something, enough that they can be a quote unquote influence on society? Like, what knowledge do you have? What skill set do you have when you're young that you can actually share something that would be of a positive influence to others? For the average kid, I would say that's probably, it's not even just being a kid. It's just like most people shouldn't be influencers, because I feel like that word should be a bit more, it should be a bit more gatekept in terms of like, yes, anyone can be a quote unquote influencer, but just because you have a big following doesn't mean that you're an influencer. Like ideally the word influencer should have been for people who actually, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. The point is, I think it's not good that young people want to be influencers, because like you should want to have skills. Like you should do what, okay, DTK, what you're doing, that's what you should do. You shouldn't want to be an influencer. You should want to develop skills and learnings and just improve different passions that you have. And by virtue of you doing that, you will gain influence, or you'll gain more people who like what you do and want to support you. And then by virtue of that, you might influence them or inspire them to learn from you, or let that ripple effect grow. So I think they have, what do you call it? We say the cart before the horse. I think the kids then would be putting the cart before the horse. You shouldn't want to be an influencer and then try to figure out how to get there. You should want to do something that you care about, and then by virtue of that, you end up influencing. Anyways, when a lot of my friends have been making YouTube channels and they want to hire me, but I don't like them. So you don't like your friends, or you don't, I'm assuming you mean you don't like their YouTube channels. Gotcha. Well, listen, DTK, I might need to hire someone. Although the editor that I'm working with right now, I'm very excited. He did a fantastic job. In the first draft of this video that I'm working on, I think he did a really, really fantastic job. But the bar is low. Maybe I've been disappointed sorely by the other editors I tried to hire. So maybe, yeah. But skill-wise, he definitely has it. And then in terms of like professionalism, he's pretty good. Like, or, you know, he hasn't given me too many red flags or anything of like, oh, this guy is, yeah, not being transparent or things like that. So, but yeah, man, you keep doing what you're doing. No, I'm not kidding. I do not like drinking. Well, yeah, of course, obviously you shouldn't. You're too young anyways. I'm logical. I would never drink. Ooh, okay, DTK, here's what I want to challenge you. And this, I don't mean to challenge you about not wanting to drink, because I don't want to set a bad example. That's not what I mean to say. But I think I will challenge you, DTK, that you should try to, okay, I'll speak for myself. I think one of the best things that I learned for myself over time is to avoid absolute statements, right? Unless you're joking, right? Obviously you can exaggerate with friends or whatever else, but when it comes to like, I will never do this, or I hate something, or this is like whatever, like when you say the words like always or things like that, I try my best to avoid that, because inevitably you're gonna break your own rule, or as you learn more about life, you'll realize things aren't usually black and white, right? So with that in mind, I think, yeah, you'll just avoid those things. Give me 1 second. Let me be right back. I gotta help my friend real quick. So 1 second, guys. I'm gonna put you on the BRB Epic screen. We've come to the finale, so thank you for making it this far. Now, let me share a thrilling wildlife encounter that I filmed between a herd of muddy buffaloes and a pride of curious lion cubs. They faced off in a breathtaking standoff. The beauty of being in the wild is its unpredictability. You just soak it all in and enjoy whatever comes your way. So, with that, please enjoy. All right, I'm back. I was rambling earlier. I don't even know what. It doesn't matter. Point is DTK. Oh yeah, I was saying, yeah, try not to, yeah, don't listen to me, man. I'm just a random guy on the internet. But I will say from my side, I try my best to not go with like extreme words or like absolute statements, because it's a personal thing, but I really don't like when people are hypocritical. Speaking hypocritically, because I think we all break that rule, But generally speaking, I do my best to live through my principles and try not to break the principles. But some people, because you want to have strong opinions, you will set principles for yourself and say it out loud, and you might not realize they're not truly your principles. You're just saying things. And then once you set that principle, if you don't really mean it, or you don't realize why you're saying that, and then inevitably you want to change. But if you set that principle, you might end up not, you start, you're creating boundaries for yourself in your thought process. So stay open-minded. I'm not telling you should drink, because I do agree with you. First, you're too young for it, okay? I don't think any country allows you to drink at that age anyways, I believe. I could be wrong. But there will be a time when you grow older and you might realize that there are some pros and cons to even things that you say you will never do, or you might want to experience it just to understand the experience, and not for the wrong reasons. And so, yeah, anyways, what am I saying? This is very bad. I feel like I'm basically convincing you, or trying my best to convince you to drink, which let's just end the conversation there. I'm logical. I would never drink. ASMR. I put a frame from my latest video. Gotcha. No, you're good. Say whatever you want. On the top of the list, back when we were younger, it was actor or rock star, rapper, etc. Oh, interesting. I thought it'd be like things like astronaut. I don't know. I know a lot not to be boastful. That's good. So it hasn't really changed all that much. I guess, yeah, it's always about being an influence or doing fancy. Yeah, being like a celebrity, I guess, would be maybe one way to say it. I think I said this on one of the other streams. It blew my mind when I learned that IShowSpeed just turned 21. That was like mind blowing that this kid is a kid, right? Because like he's talk about a proper influence, and it kind of makes me laugh that I made this comparison, because I thought he was like 27. I don't know. I thought he was much older than he is. But there was a time early on in my stream, I even said it, where I was like, yo, I think IShowSpeed is like the Anthony Bourdain of the new generation, like Gen Z, which is like a little bit of an extreme statement to make, for sure, or it seems a bit controversial, maybe. Not controversial, but hey, what's up, Kimbap? Kimbap looks very posed right here. It's like he's waiting for a photo to be taken. Good boy, yeah. Wait, what was I saying? Let me just read the chat real quick. Learn to fish and you won't go hungry. Nice. I understand being logical is good, but many things have value outside of logic. Yeah, being emotional has its values as well. Just extremes of anything is always bad, right? What is it called? Everything in moderation is like I stand by that. I think too much of anything is a bad thing, but avoiding all things can also be bad, I guess. So things in moderation. Very few things are black and white. There's usually gray areas. Exactly. DTK says fire and it's bad for your health. As far as we know, yes. If you never drink your whole life, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a healthy choice. It is very healthy. I totally get it. DTK says he is so... Oh, yeah, IShowSpeed. Yeah, 21. And yeah, I do still think he is very much like the Anthony Bourdain of that generation, because he is a positive influence. I think more people, not just kids, but like adults, anyone should be more like IShowSpeed. Where's my cat? Look at this gal. You making biscuits? Wow, look at her. She doesn't know we're spying on her right now. Pretty girl. This is with my new 35mm f1.2 lens. How clean. Okay. Anyways, what were you saying? Yeah, because like he's traveling the world and he's basically showing he's a positive influence right now. I don't know much about his past. I feel like some people said he used to be way more aggressive on stream, or more like yeah, I think he was more like just trolling or crazy antics and stuff like that. I don't know. I have no idea what he used to do. I just judge him by what he's doing now. And when you, especially when you compare him as an influence, as a streamer, versus a lot of people his age who are famous for streaming, I feel like so many people in the streaming world are really bad influences, or they're doing things that are divisive or controversial, or not like, yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like good. It doesn't feel that good. Whereas like iShowSpeed is just being wholesome, as far as I can see, traveling the world, exploring cultures, but not to make fun of the culture, but to actually like out of genuine curiosity, like going there with an open mind to like, you know, be one with the culture, actually not avoid things, but not feeling like you're better than, but just out of curiosity, and then capturing on camera in you know, like live, and getting people of each of those countries to feel like super proud of whatever is being showcased, and then for everyone else in the world to get a glimpse of like these different cultures that are there. I think that's fantastic. That's kind of like the Anthony Bourdain thing, right? Because like Anthony Bourdain, you know, doing, you know, he's like a food guy, right? That's how people know him. Oh, isn't that the food guy? Well, he's like traveling for food, but doing it in a way that's like elevating the different cultures and like getting people more invested in like wanting to learn more about these other places in the world. Fed says, be like water, making its way through cracks. If you put it in a cup, it becomes a cup. Are we referring back to our talk about Bruce Lee? Who else were we talking about? But yeah, we're talking about the Bruce Lee stuff. He was crazy when he was young. Yeah, I don't know anything about him back then. Anyways, DTK, that could be you could be the next iShowSpeed, all right? So who knows? All right. We wanted to start looking at this. Let me just drag all these clips over. I don't have a good sense yet how we're gonna break this down. Let me just play it from here. Let's pause the music. Okay, so even from that, I think I had too many back-to-back clips of the drinking. So like I said, I think I should probably space it out, which makes it feel more like actually, oh yeah, we took a shot, then a lot of things happened, and then we came back, took another shot, and then more things happened. So it feels more like a passage of time of like, you know, it's not like we were taking 10 shots in a row. So I do need to space it out a bit. And then obviously I'll kind of retime some of the clips to maybe go with the music or just kind of break up the cadence so it doesn't feel too robotic. But outside of that, I think we're in a good spot. So DTK says, I have to go soon, but I hope you like the color of the frame. Oh, you put an extra thing. Sorry, I missed that. I have a 4th edition printing of his Jeet Kune Do training guide. Nice. Oh man, I just saw some random video pop up of our boy Jet Li. I haven't seen this guy in ages. I feel like I heard he had some kind of debilitating physical condition, which is sad for a guy like Jet Li. I'm pretty sure it's Jet Li. But anyways, there's a video I saw where he was explaining the word kung fu, or I think in Chinese you say like gung fu or something like that. Because he was like saying people think kung fu means like martial arts, but that's actually not true. There's like something else that you say for martial arts. And in fact, in Chinese, kung fu is more about when you do something to the extreme or something like that, when you're like obsessive about something, or when you take it to like that level of mastering something. So like you would say anything is kung fu. Like if let's say DTK has been spending imagine you dedicated the entire year and a half just to master color grading. That would be like DTK was doing colorist gung fu or something. So point is, like I'm butchering it, but apparently the word kung fu was actually, it's not meant for like martial arts. It's just people who have dedicated their lives to master something, and you can be kung fu about anything. So I was like, oh wow. Anyways, I didn't know that. Maybe that was all bullshit actually. So maybe I just fell, for some random AI video. Jet Li has hyperthyroidism and a heart condition. That's so crazy, man. Yeah, talk about, because that dude was also badass. I always, unfortunately, if I'm being honest, I always had it as Jackie Chan #1, Bruce Lee #2, and then Jet Li, even though I've seen more Jet Li movies and stuff. So really, I should have put him higher. But Bruce Lee had just more of a badass aura that he retained about himself. And then Jackie Chan, you can't top Jackie Chan. Like, he mastered that style of martial arts. I just don't see anyone else replicating on TV. The closest I ever seen to like some like action martial arts style that replicates the Jackie Chan style was from Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? And there's like those two guys. I used to watch their Instagram channel, and then that they made it to the Everything Everywhere All at Once. But like they do those kind of acrobatics, martial arts in a very comedic and using your environment style. But yeah. Let me go to the Discord. So you said you sent something in in the photo section, or hold on. Ooh, Man, everyone's sending some cool photos of sunsets. Oh, the color grade here. Yeah, same thing, man. I like the colors in what you sent. I love the sky. The greens look like a nice shade of green. Like the palm trees look very welcoming but like warm at the same time. So I think it works well with the blue sky in the back. And the grass on the ground is soft enough, so I'm glad you like removed some of the texture. So it's just kind of like got a soft feel across the grass there. So yeah, it like brings the attention more towards the trees than to the house. So yeah, I like it, man. And then yeah. I love Jet Li and his old Taoism flick, Tai Chi Master. Dude, I can't even name those Jet Li movies I used to watch. Oh, man, that's embarrassing. Or that's I'm doing a dishonor to him. The old Hong Kong Jet Li movies are great. DTK says, I filmed it yesterday. I'm coming out with the whole vlog soon. Dang, man, you guys are putting me to shame. I need to be, look at, you guys are putting out videos one after the next, and I'm being distracted and not like getting anywhere with this one video that I've been working on for how long? Yeah, he's a grandmaster. Certainly not bullshit. DTK says, I have to go, but it was nice to be here. Thank you very much, DTK. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of the community. You are definitely an inspiration, man. And that's crazy. I could say that about you, and you're a third my age or something almost. I don't know. Yeah, good luck, DTK, says Mindful. Okay. So, where were we? We got a lot of these clips. Oh, yeah, okay. Let me try to figure out the structure here. So, we have some shots where I think the first shot definitely makes sense, right? I have this shot where you see me entering through the doorway. So that's more symbolic than anything. We're like entering into this now B-roll section of like festivities. So I think that's a good opening. And then we go right into this shot of the bottle, which I'm happy with, or I'm fine with. So we kind of set the mood right away. We just jump right in. The one thing maybe I don't like about this is that you're seeing me enter this room, but then this shot is from the other room. So part of me also feels like for continuity, maybe I need to start with maybe a different shot. But then what other shot do I have that looks okay? Because this one is very blurry. It's not on the bottle. Let's see, what else do I have? So it could be from this to this to that. So, oh yeah, and then we have the bottle here. So it could be, okay, maybe that's one way I should think about this. DDK says, no, but you are working with a lot more footage. I'm an adult, unfortunately. I have to wake up and I have to do adult things. Okay, that's my excuse. Okay, that's how I'm going to justify while I'm not working as quickly as you. Okay, we got to do adult things like doing the laundry, washing dishes, making coffee. Okay, I'm thinking the ordering of the shots probably. I can see a world where I need to lay out the shots based on the room I'm in. So, you know, you see me entering the room. So all of the shots that come after it should probably take place in the same room. And then it can transition to switch over to the other room, which is this guy here, where you can see, yeah, the environment has changed, but the drinking has continued. So I think, yeah, so this one should come in earlier. And then this one comes in later. So yeah, okay, I love this. This is why I need to talk this out loud, because eventually I get to an answer that could make sense. Yo, we got Primal Nation in the chat. Hello, hello, Primal. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you're having a good day with those epic emotes as always. Today is today is an editing stream. So I didn't get as much work done this morning. So I wanted to be a bit more productive mode today. So I just had a breakthrough with what I need to figure out for the structure. So we're in a good spot here. So yeah, I think we are going to tell the B-roll story through the 2 rooms. And then we do have some shots here in the van. This could work, maybe, just to keep breaking up the environments. However, it is so out there, and I only have these shots where we're taking more shots together. And it's like from plastic cups. So it's not like necessarily it may not add as much value unless I really want to show that we're drinking all the time, which is also not necessarily true. So as far as shots go, these probably would be deprioritized. And then we have these cool shots where she's performing. And I just got to figure out where to include this. So we start with room A, then we jump to room B, and either in between is shots of her, or maybe I should show the establishing shot first. So we see this room and then we see her performing in there. Yeah, okay. So we're applying the learnings from filmmaking techniques. So we got to do the establishing shot first, and then we can start cropping our medium shots. Yo, hello, Kristen. Kristen's in the chat. Kristen says, left work today to pick up my daughter from school. Glad I have sick pay. Well, hopefully your daughter's not too sick. Hopefully she's pretending to be sick to get out of school. We've all been there. But thanks for being here. How was your day? Hopefully it's not too crazy cold either. I know we were chatting before, but it sounds like there's a crazy cold front going through all of the Midwest, or is it just the Northeast? I don't know. Primal says, I'm streaming some Drew Carey. SHIW, what is that? Oh, Drew Carey She on my channel as I roam around before playing Arc Raiders. I am so jealous, man. I keep hearing everyone talk about Arc Raiders, and it sounds like such a fun game. And a part of me is like itching to be like, can I just become a video game streamer? I won't, because I don't think it makes sense for me to anyways. I have too much other stuff to get done, unfortunately. But my goodness, it must be so much fun to be a gamer right now. There's to play that game. Everyone's talking about Arc Raiders. So, but enjoy it. It does feel like a good time from what I can tell. It's a great game. Yeah, because I know a lot of people are talking about Arc Raiders as like, if it wasn't for Expedition 33, which I thought was the game of the decade for me, like, you know, not that I played that many games, but I do love those types of games. And that game had me hooked from start to finish. From everything, the storyline was so novel, and the music, the soundtracks were very gripping and memorable, and the game was so expansive, and like it didn't feel short-lived. It felt like a real world building kind of a concept. Yeah, I thought it was just and the fighting, everything about it was fantastic. And then the backstory of like, you know, the underdog of like just 33 people or like a small budget putting this all together. All of that is a recipe for like, man, this is the game of the decade for me. But then people are talking about Arc Raiders as like potentially being better, or like, hey, this one should win instead. So it must be good. Primal says never played it yet. Oh man, you should totally do it. But it's like a different style from Arc Raiders, right? It's like a story-driven RPG type. I don't know, whatever the words are, but it's like, yeah, it's like a Final Fantasy-esque RPG story-driven kind of an open world thing. I don't know. The last game I completed was Once Upon a Katamari. Never heard of that. My gaming knowledge is not that great. I'm gonna be honest. My knowledge about most things are not that great. Kristen says, I'm getting some laundry going and now listening while I work on my diamond painting. I don't know why my visual imagery, the imagery I just had, was not of you painting a diamond. I don't know why, but I was imagining you making a painting using like crushed diamonds. It's so weird. I don't know. It doesn't even make sense, but that was the visual that popped in my head. What do you mean by a diamond painting? Or I'm assuming you mean you're painting a diamond, which sounds very interesting. I would love to know the backstory behind that. Primal says it was the newest installment of the Katamari Damacy series. I don't know what that is. Oh my, sorry. Not even related, but the word series just reminded me of some crazy cool news. Because I am a big fan of fantasy books. I grew up on it. I remember when all my friends were watching, or sorry, not watching, when all my friends were reading Harry Potter, I was also reading Harry Potter, but I always felt elitist as a child when it came to books, because I was like, oh, look at these plebs, these peasants reading Harry Potter and thinking they understand fantasy. Meanwhile, I was going to like the adult section of the library like every 2 weeks, and I was just like getting all these books. Like Robert Jordan was like my favorite author growing up. He had this huge epic fantasy called The Wheel of Times, and it eventually got turned into an Amazon show, but I don't think they did a good job. There's like some kind of writer strike that also impacted it. But yeah, there's an author named Brandon Sanderson, and he ended up finishing the Wheel of Time series when the author passed away. Sadly, he passed away before he could finish like the last few books of his crazy epic series. And the wife of the author, Robert Jordan, was also his editor. And bottom line, she ended up asking Brandon Sanderson, who is this other amazing writer who's got his own books and like series. She asked him to finish the Wheel of Times, and he did an amazing job, and he's got like his own epic series and everything. But anyways, it just came out the other day that Apple has bought the rights to Brandon Sanderson's two of his series, or one is called it's like the Cosmere Universe, but it's like this Mistborn series, which he, like, a lot of people would know him from that. But then he also has this other book series that he's come up with more recently that was also bought out by Apple, and Brandon Sanderson is going to play a huge role across all of it. So I'm super excited. Yeah, so hopefully it's done right. So I'm very, very nerdy excited about this. Not that I've read books in a long time. All right, where was it? They are little gems like a color by number. The end result is sparkly. It's a full moon reflecting on water. Oh, that sounds crazy. Well, Kristen, when you're done with it, if you want to share it somehow, whether it's Instagram or in the Discord, would love to see it if that's something you share publicly or not. Got email from the local camera shop. I had originally put in a request for them to tell me when the Nikon ZR would become available. Apparently now it's finally available outside of the pre-orders. End of January. I'm trying to remember, Fed, when... Oh, so... Because you have yours already, but you're saying you wanted more, but because you did the pre-order. Now it's like publicly available. Sorry, it took me a while to process that. So today they finally have copies for the public who didn't pre-order. Gotcha. Dang. We're at the end of Jan. I mean, listen, let's see how long Nikon can ride this positive wave. But that's good. Kristen says, I have a pen that has a metal hollowed out tip that I put wax in and it picks up the gem. Dang, that sounds so crazy. I can post on the ground? Yes, please. Oh yeah, what was I say? Oh yeah, so Brandon Sanderson. for, obviously a lot of people know, wow, I was about to say Robert Jordan again. George R.R. Martin, right? You got the Game of Thrones series, which I was a fan of, the series and everything. I know the series unfortunately dipped in terms of quality towards the end, but the big knock is always that George R. R. Martin is slow. Like this guy, this mother effer, right? How come it's taking you like a decade to finish each book? It is insane how slow he is. It almost feels criminal. It's like, how dare you make such an amazing story, get us hooked in, get us so invested in this whole concept of this world that you created. It's your world, right, Mr. Martin? But then at this point, it's the public's world, right? At this point, you've kind of relinquished a little bit and you've given it to the world and it's planted seeds and now it's kind of grown its own wings and it's like, okay, now it's our thing. Finish the damn thing, man. It bothers me to no end how long it's taking this guy to finish his own series that he started, right? And so every time I was like saying, oh, George R. R. Martin is working on this thing now, or it's like, dude, just, it's like watching me trying to finish this Mongolia episode 2. It's like, yo, why are you doing 10,000 other things? Just finish the damn thing and move on. So yeah. So anyways, George R. R. Martin takes forever to finish his books, right? Meanwhile, this dude, Brandon Sanderson, this guy right here, he pushes out these books like, I'm trying to think if there's an equivalent in like the film world, but this guy is like pumping out books every year, like high quality books over and over and over again. And it just, yeah, we need more people like this, but this guy is fantastic. I think he's an amazing guy. He has his own YouTube channel and he's very active there. He's got his own podcast. So yeah, the Mistborn series, and then the more recent stuff, this epic of his he's come out with called the Stormlight Archive. If you are a fan of fantasy books and like that's like the Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or any of those kind of big epic fantasy series and like world building, I highly recommend you pick up any of this guy's books, Brandon Sanderson. So yeah, all right. Anyways, he's not paying me to say all this. He doesn't even know who I am. How dare he? Fed says you could press a button on their online site for them to tell you when the camera will be available. I pressed it before I pre-ordered. Gotcha. Kristen says, I'll be getting a new phone with the tax returns. Then I'll have the memory to add it. Nice. Congratulations. It always feels good to get money back from the government. That's a rare occurrence. So the fact that it happened to you, I'm proud of you. Good job. Hold on to that feeling. Although, yeah. Anyways. Primal says, no translation bot. Yeah, the translation's been pretty funny recently. I don't know if it's intentional, but yeah, it's been funny what it comes up with. Okay, what was I doing? All right, so let's keep thinking this through. We got the shots as we enter into room number 1. So let me start to organize all the shots from this room first, and then I'll rearrange that later. So these are all from the same room. So let's move this clip. Let's move this clip back. This one as well. This one and not this one. We'll move this one. Bring this one in. All right. Let's just lift up the ones that are in the other room. And I think all of these are in the other room. Okay, cool. Okay. So we did a bit of housekeeping here. Boom. So now we're going to start with all of these shots, and then we need to organize these ones even further. So ideally, I can split up some of the shots of the drinking to go in between. And then I think the time lapses should just go all together. So these two are basically similar. Both are time lapses, but in different camera modes. This one looks a bit more natural. This one obviously looks a bit more poppy in color, but I don't mind this poppy color and it's a longer clip, so I think I'm going to remove one of these guys for now, and then we'll just speed this one up. Yeah, we'll speed that up. Mindful says, I wish I had ordered a few more CF Express Type B cards and another SSD. Prices have gone up probably 80-90%. Oh my god. I agree with you. You know what I should have done? I think we should have all done this. We should always remind each other every year. When Black Friday rolls around, or what is it? Cyber Monday, whichever one, I think I just need to use that time more wisely to purchase a lot of tech stuff, even if I don't feel like I need to right away. So yeah, I should always just buy extra memory cards on Black Friday, because I'm assuming you're going to get a better deal than any other time. Oh, by the way, so I was visiting my friend. I was visiting one of my friends today, and he has a Sony FX3, and he was showing me some of the cool features of the Sony FX3, like the FX3 itself, obviously, but the apps that come with, or like you can download certain apps to remote control the FX3, and those apps are fantastic. Like there was like almost zero latency. Like he was showing me on his phone, and as I was swiveling the camera around and jerking it around in every direction, it was pretty good at just actually showing in real time whatever you're doing. And obviously you can like control all the buttons and stuff. I was like, damn, I want Nikon. I don't know how good Nikon's remote app is for like properly controlling the cameras. So that would be one area that is like, oh, if Nikon could be better with their app for like remote controlling the camera, that's music to my ears. Oh, and then one thing I didn't know about the Sony FX3 is it has 2 CF Express Type A slots. For some reason, I thought everyone is using the Express Type B for like these cinema cameras, but this one's using the 2 CF Express Type A cards, which I'm curious, like, I don't know. I've never shot with the Sony FX3. I'm assuming the CF Express Type A cards are good enough, right? Or I'm assuming it must work well, right? But I am curious, like, how much of a difference is the Type A card versus the Type B? And is that ever a limitation? If the Type B is X times better in quality or performance than the Type A, is that one of the downsides of the Sony FX3? But then on the flip side, the Sony FX3 had 2 slots for the CF Express Type A, and I believe he said there are 2 additional slots for like SD slots or something. I don't know, but Kristen says, I don't stop believing, hold on to that feeling. Yes, I agree. Kristen says, I should be listening to my new book. That's 10 hours. I read it when I was 12. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a book that I read at a young age that I would reread now. I love audiobooks. I wish I could get back into it, but I've just been, I've been so focused on this one thing, which is like this world that I'm doing, the video photo editing, that usually I don't have the capacity to listen to something seriously at the same time as working, which is a shame. Yeah, I need to keep reading. Oh, I'm so congested. Same, I was looking to getting another 2 terabyte for the trip to Spain, and the prices are wild now. A 2-pack of the 2 terabyte is $14.50 US on B&H. Oh my god. $14.50. Yeah, right. $13.70 price for 2 Lexar CF Express B, on sale from $2,100. Dang. Yeah, for a 2-pack of 2 terabyte Lexar. Jeez. Well, yep. And this is why photography, and well, even more so videography now, right? But like, this is why getting into cameras is so freaking expensive. Okay. So how do we arrange these shots? Let me just play it out. Actually, I need to blow my nose again. Here, I'm gonna play this from way back so I can walk over and get some Kleenex.
kımbat bir vayday. Yaramaydı, ölüm söz ben bastayım, nazlar sıkırat bir vayday. Oğlum bir yılday, kolda joktun kıyınay, Ustaranın yüzünde yavdarılan dünyay. Ülkede toy toylap, torun bir baylay, Hatta izlep girgende söyleseyim baylay. Beygatınday gelipsin, tağalanın bir baylay. Oltırıp oğlum bir yılday, kolda joktun kıyınay, Ustaranın yüzünde.
Okay, obviously this one played out longer, but actually I think this works. Because initially I was thinking, do I have too many of the drinking shots back to back? So I think I could probably shorten one of the, like this clip a bit. So it should just be like, he picks up the glass, looks over, and then crop it. I'll sync it to the music later, but... yeah, but then I like this transition from seeing the last shot of someone drinking and then going into this time lapse, because like the time lapse, obviously with all the motion blur, maybe it kind of also mimics that feeling of like when you're drunk and you know everything's blurry, right? So there could be that little bit of a connective tissue to lead to the next shot. So I think I don't mind that. You see the dude drinking and then a bunch of motion blur as time passes, right? Quickly, because you're drunk. And then obviously I don't need all this, so I either speed this up and then we'll need to find a good point in the song. I think I heard it when you hear the other guy's voice kick in, where I'll then transition to the other room, right? So let me listen to that again. Kristen's asking if it's tariff related prices. I'm trying to think. Well, no, because oh no, Mindful's in the States, right? Yeah, I always wonder like how much has prices gone crazy in the States if you're trying to get some things from international. These are the special Trump prices that he promised. Yeah, exactly. The Red Cinema 2 terabyte cards are on sale at $5.39 each. I like seeing him take the shot. Yeah, I think the shot was the shot was a bit too long. But I think, yeah, we'll start syncing it up. But I think the ordering is decent. Although, yeah. So when you hear this other dude's voice kick in roughly here, oh, you know what? Perfect. It's almost the halfway mark. So I think that kind of works out. Let me just pause the music. So it starts here. And then roughly here is where you hear this other dude's voice start kicking in. So when that guy's voice kicks in, I think that's a good transition. The next verse is starting, where we want the other room shots to start to appear. So let me figure out where that is. So somewhere around here, right? Let's put a little marker. And then we can delete this marker for now. Yeah, I think we're committed to this new approach. So now I'll just shorten up a few of these shots. Let's listen to it again. And then the shot that comes before, I don't know how much of a value it adds. It's very dark. It doesn't convey much. It could work later to kind of feel disoriented, like you're drunk. So the shot itself, it's quick and it's blurry and it's dark. So you don't really have enough time to really grasp what you're seeing, right? But that could work in my favor for showing shots that comes after you see a lot of drinking. So it could actually, maybe it could work. So, or at least that's my current thought process. But right now, that shot on its own, it's not a good shot, right? Because the focus is not on the bottle, even though the bottle feels very prominently placed. The focus is slightly more on this middle guy, but the current way I've graded it, it's pretty dark, so you don't really see their faces very well. Yeah, and so I think as far as a shot goes in terms of these like few frames here, it doesn't like add much to a story, but we'll use the blurriness to our benefit if we need that shot. So let's see. Let's look at the rest of the clips here. And then I want to tighten up some of these clips so it fits with the song. Let's add this one maybe here. Oops. Here, one of those Lexar cards is around $900. Dude, that's crazy. That's the cheapest option. Most shops, they are around $1,000. Oh, man. What a world, man. DTK is back. Hello. Welcome back. We're just doing our usual thing here. I'm continuing to edit away. But I think I feel a bit better about the structure. Okay, so I think I want to punch up this one a bit. So we don't need, maybe from like here. Yes, nice. Okay, because you'll see it's like the glass clinks at the same time as the song has this moment. Maybe, I think. Let's try again. Okay, yeah, it works, but I think this shot is a little too long. So we can drop this one. We can have this start later, and it gives a bit more space to the shot that comes before. Okay, and then the only issue is we're seeing two clinks. It's like a repetitive motion, which is not bad on... In some ways, having something repetitive could look weird, but when it comes to drinking and it's showing two different people drinking, it could work in my favor to show like everyone's drinking. Let me think. Maybe there's something about like, even if that story, even if it makes sense what I said, there's something about seeing the same action happen one after the other that right now I feel more leaning towards it's jarring than it is good, for lack of a better word. So maybe I'll just take a different section, or let's see how much we have to work with here. So I could have it start just showing slightly different moments of when you're clinking glasses. It's not bad. Let's try like an earlier part. Okay, I like that. Or at least I'm having a more visceral reaction to that in a good way. So I think this feels a bit, if it jives in my head a bit more, and I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like one fluid motion, I guess maybe is how I'd say it. Because now you're seeing like, whoops, how do I undo that? I feel like, and again, this is just in my mind, who knows why, but here you're seeing the glass go towards the cup, and then as it transitions, it somewhat feels like a continuous trajectory of that glass, even though it's obviously two different scenes and two different people. So the subjects have changed, but the bottle remains, and it feels like it's like a continuous motion towards doing the same action without repeating the action. Does that make sense? There's a better way to say it. So I think that looks better. Mindful says, probably not Qatar. I spent 6 months there on one trip and a few weeks on another trip 15 to 20 years ago. Qatar, have I ever been? I've never been to Qatar. I went to Bahrain, however you pronounce it. But this was like years ago. There wasn't much to do. I wasn't there for too long, so I can't really make a judgment. Qatar, I've never been. I know a lot of my friends and peers went there for the World Cup or whatever it was, but I'm not a big football soccer fan. So yeah, it didn't mean anything to me. Does she have a channel or does she just do this for fun? Who are we talking about here? She does animation. Kristen was talking about something. Oh, I missed a few. Sorry. You know what? It didn't even register why you guys were talking about Qatar. I must have missed a few messages. I told my 13-year-old daughter about UTTK. Ah, nice. Yeah, super impressive, man. I know. I feel like we're glazing you too much to use your Gen Alpha, Gen Z terminology. To use your terminology, DTK, you've been cooking, okay, while we've been cooked. So we be glazing you. There you go. Oh, I see. Where the absolute F is all that money going? To Qatar. Gotcha. Okay, finally connecting the dots. Okay. Does she use Blender? What is Blender? DTK, do you want to know what my generation, our types of, I guess you would call them dad jokes now, which is so sad. But our joke is when you say something that like Blender, I'd be like, Blender? I hardly know her. Although that one doesn't make sense. But I should clarify it's being held in a bank in Qatar. It wasn't paid to them. My buddy who acts in my short films, the guy who was also in Dubai on vacation, was in Qatar as well earlier on last year. Yeah, my understanding is like Qatar, I mean, it's like a very tiny place, I guess. Yeah, I don't know much about it. I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about this region. But I know they quickly built up a lot of infrastructure just for the World Cup. That's what I know. Yo, what's up? Josh Warner is in the chat over on Twitch. Hello. Good morning to you. So you're stateside. I forget whereabouts, but thanks for being here. We're just having like an editing stream today. I didn't get enough work done today, so I'm trying to be productive now. However, Josh, thanks for being here. Last stream, I did revamp my setup, so I switched over to this rodecaster video instead of using the other thing. And there's some big tests that I'm going to do, including we tested out the overhead shot with a wireless HDMI transmitter, and I'm really excited about it. This guy. Sorry. I freaked out my cats. This beast. Well, this is not a beast. It's just the Nikon Z6 with an adapter with like a 20 millimeter lens. But we were testing out the transmitter and the receiver onto the rodecaster. And it works pretty nicely. I'm sure I can do things to improve it, but the quality seemed okay. Better. I don't know if it's better than what I expected with the Z6 with this type of lens, but yeah. Anyways, this might be an additional lens or camera that I have that I'll stick up on the C-stand behind me at an overhead downward shot, and I can switch to that to show my cats and me in a particular setting. I might test it again later today, but let me just set this down. Hello, Nala. I'm not going to scare you. There you go. But yes, thank you very much for being here, Josh. Oops. Mindful says, Blender, but I hardly know her. Fed says, I went to Dubai in 2002. Dang. Dude, in 2002, I feel like Dubai was just sand. So if you were to come back, Mindful, it is completely different. Photos I took were taken on a 35 millimeter camera. Gotcha. I bought an ornate chest with brass inlays and had it shipped home. I still have it. Wait, from Dubai? Nice. There's a lot of cool archaeology in the Middle East. So I've heard. Oh, well, like in Jordan, right? Jordan, you got Petra, and that is like amazing. They went on a lot of excursions out in the desert and stuff, and they have a ton of entertainment stuff like IMAX and fancy gadgets in Qatar trying to please tourists. Yeah, a lot of the Middle East is doing that, like Saudi, right? They're trying to compete against Dubai, the UAE, in terms of like, hey, big companies, come, put your headquarters for the Middle East in Saudi. And I think at one point they were like forcing companies to do that. Like it was like, hey, if you're a multinational or like a Fortune 500 global company, if you want to operate in Saudi, you must have your headquarters in Saudi. That was like something that they were pushing. I don't know if they're still doing that, But yeah, basically they were trying to, so by the way, if you're trying to find a job and get paid a lot of money, if you find an international company that has an office in Saudi, you could probably apply to work there. And if you get accepted, probably the pay will be, excellent, right? Move to Saudi. That's it, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask her if she's in school. There were Lambos all over the place. I mean, that's still the case. Although now it's like, yeah, even just outside my apartment, there was a Porsche. Is that how you pronounce it? Porsche. I don't know anything about cars. There was a Porsche, but it was like all decked out with like, it looked like a race car. It was like decked out with like, it even had logos everywhere as if it was like a race car. I will scan a few and drop some in the Discord. Petra is wild. We were there maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, Petra. I did the Petra at night, and that was fantastic. Like, you take these shots at night where they light all the candles on the base. And this is before I wish I knew a little bit more before I did the shot. But, oh yeah, you know what? Here, let's take a quick pause. Let's go into the photo editing real quick, because I think I can pop that open somewhere. Let's see. Let me go to my photos. Should be like somewhere in the beginning. Because in the beginning of my photography journey, I was more into like landscapes, like setting up your camera on a tripod and taking those types of shots. Where are you, Petra? Oh, here we go. So yeah, let's do a little trip down memory lane. These are some of the shots that I 5-starred from Jordan. So I went on a trip with a friend of mine, and we just did like a road trip. I think Jordan's pretty easy in terms of traveling. Oh wait, I'm not sharing my screen, am I? Hold on. Hahaha, I caught myself. Okay, let me click some buttons here. Kristen says, I'm jealous. I'd love to see that in person. Their glass wall is crazy. Oh, I didn't see the glass wall. What is that? The glass wall. Is that the thing in Saudi? I don't know. Okay, so these are some of the photos that I had bookmarked. So I went with a friend of mine from back in the States, and we went to Jordan. And Jordan's pretty easy to travel as a tourist because it's not that big of a country, relatively speaking. And there's like a few key things you're supposed to do when you're there. Basically, you land in, is it Amman? I forget the name of the capital. Well, once you land, you can rent a car or you get a driver. And I start by going all the way down south to a place called Wadi Rum, which is what you're seeing the photos of. It's like this beautiful desert landscape. And I believe I read somewhere that this all used to be underwater. Like this all used to be part of like the sea or something, which is even crazier to think of. Like when you see these crazy mountains that just protrude out of nowhere, right? To imagine like all of this used to be like, water, right? All submerged. But it's like a beautiful landscape with like these crazy mountains and sand everywhere. So yeah, this is back when I used to travel with like a tripod and try to take landscape stuff. But yeah, so this is Wadi Rum. And then from Wadi Rum, you continue back, you return trip, go up, and you visit Petra, right? So you go to Petra, you see the crazy sand carving homes and stuff like that. And that's where I did the thing at night, which I highly recommend. But they don't do it every night, so you just got to monitor. It's been a while, though. I don't know how much things have changed. But Wadi Rum is definitely worth visiting. We did a thing where we just camped out at night in a cave, and you're just surrounded by stars in every direction. It's such a surreal experience to be surrounded by stars, right? It's like something that, most of us, the chance of having that experience is growing slimmer and slimmer as technology is everywhere, as civilization is everywhere. So to have like these moments where you're back in the middle of nowhere, and you can almost imagine what you're seeing is no different from people hundreds or like thousands of years ago had a similar experience as you, just a fire in a cave and a bunch of stars. And there's something about that that's very, very surreal. Petra is wild. We were there maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the line. Yes. So that's in Saudi. I don't think they're ever going to finish that, by the way. I'm very skeptical about that. It's very ambitious, though. I do appreciate the ambitious projects. I just don't think it's ever gonna pan out. But yeah. So this is Petra. It's a beautiful place. Or sorry, this is not Petra. Excuse me. This is Wadi Rum, and yeah, I just remember as we were on the drive, you're just like driving and imagining all of this is underwater, and it's just like one of those crazy mind trips as you're going through here. There's actually what is the TV show? There's a TV show that's like Black Mirror. Love, Death, and Robots. So there's that TV show Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix, and I'm pretty sure they had an episode. It took place in the US. It might have even been like Arizona, but you see like these two characters, they're on a road trip, and they stop, like the car breaks down, they're in the middle of the desert in a highway, and then at night, all of a sudden, like he's hallucinating, or, you know, obviously they make it a certain way, but the entire terrain turns into like this underwater world. And that's exactly what I was imagining when I was here. I was like, oh my God, to imagine like this is the base of the ocean, basically, is how I was thinking of it. And everywhere above you would be like sharks and, you know, prehistoric, you know, fish or whatever swimming around. And now it's all desert. Now it's all dead, right? It is kind of funny to see these photos from way back. So then, yeah, there would be like the Bedouin camps. So you like stay with these locals who've created these little camp concepts for like hoteling style. And yeah, you spend time with them. You go out to the desert. It's just a fantastic experience. But I was trying to show something. Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite shots. Just like this kitty cat staring up, daydreaming. All right, but I think there should be a shot coming up soon. Oh yeah, so this doesn't do it any justice, right? Because I didn't know what I was doing, but I tried to do a little bit of like long exposure from the cave that we were spending the night, just like enjoying the view. And with the long exposure, basically, as the clouds were drifting in, it like made it look like it was on fire. But yeah, these are just slow shutter stuff. But yeah, I haven't done much with like astrophotography. There's like a lot of things I didn't know what I was doing. It's a dumb idea, just like the Board of Peace dumb idea for Gaza. I will disagree slightly with the line concept, and there's a few other big projects that Saudi was pushing. I think it's a dumb idea in the sense that I don't think it's realistic, and it's kind of like a pipe dream. And the reason I felt that way is because I visited Saudi with my former company. And I just remember thinking like, wow, Saudi is pitching this big ass project, but when you're like in the actual city and like just driving around stuff, you can still tell it's like, it feels like Dubai, but maybe 10 years back, right? Or like they're trying to catch up to Dubai. So in my mind, I was thinking like, how are you saying you're doing this ambitious project, but the current cities or city that I was experiencing feels like that one still needs improvement, right? Not to say it was like a shithole or anything. It was just like, I was seeing a disparity of like you're saying this big grand project, but then your current state, it's like when you hear Elon talk about going to the moon or like whatever, those kinds of things. It was like, well, I get the ambition, but I kind of wish that money would be diverted more towards like the current time and like helping people now type thing, right? So I get the ambition, but it was like this disparity between reality versus what they're trying to build. But I think it's a grand idea. I wish more people would dream like that, because their whole concept was trying to create something more sustainable, something that blends in with nature and also has less footprint on Earth itself, kind of a thing, right? So taking up less real estate on Earth, building something that's vertical in a way that's like you don't encroach on the land as much, right? So imagine like how typical cities and settlements where basically you start chopping down trees, you chop down everything around you, all of nature, so that people can live there in a flat land, example. And you can imagine that's very detrimental to the nature around you. So to create something where it's like a literal line that's very, very narrow, but it's very deep, and in that deep world, people can do everything. It's a fascinating concept. It's very sci-fi. I think the intent can be very positive, or like nature friendly or whatever. But the realistic element of it was like, yo, this is never, I don't think it's ever going to get done. I don't know. But maybe I'm just a Debbie Downer. Kristen says it's the dumbest idea. They did a lot of work for a while, but now it's stagnated. Like I said, man, yeah, I live in Dubai. I've been there, and this was at this point maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not sure. And I just remember even then feeling a bit skeptical, but I felt inspired and skeptical at the same time. That's what I'm trying to say. Just the execution of it in this day and age, I just didn't think it was possible. And also, I am a bit jaded because of Dubai. Because, before I moved here, I visited once before. And I remember when I visited, they were like, hey, there's so many grand projects that Dubai was pitching, or the UAE. Like there's one project where it was called Falcon City, I think it was. And like I was doing a desert tour, and they're showing, it's like, oh, they're building this city where from overhead it looks like a falcon. And then it's like, oh, over in Dubai there's like these islands that if you look overhead, it looks like the map of the world. And like each island will represent some of all the countries of the world. So like if you go to this country that's for Germany, once you're there, it's going to be like a ski resort that blah blah blah. Or if you go to this country, it's like representing Switzerland. It's really ambitious. And then fast forward to now, neither of those exist. I'm pretty sure the world, basically all those islands were sinking or something. I don't know. Like, yeah. So, but I appreciate the ambition, but it is a lot of like, you throw a bunch of shit at the wall. That's not a good way to describe it, but you throw a bunch of money at a bunch of projects. It's like no different from like VCs or like investments in general. Like they end up investing a lot of money into a bunch of projects and hope that at least one of these or a few of these will become so successful. The returns from that trumps all of the losses from the other things. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm getting on a tangent here. Just like all those man-made islands with luxury homes that nobody wants to live in. Exactly, yeah. But there are some good examples. The Palm is, that's a thriving place. It's an island that looks like the Palm. One of the Palms did fail though, but the Palm Jumeirah is like thriving. There's something near where I used to live called the Blue Waters Island, and that's also like a beautiful, like it's amazing, right? But it took them years to make this big replica of the London Eye, but bigger because it's Dubai. And they launched it. I think it launched for all of like 1 month, where you could ride the wheel, and then they shut down. And it took a long time for it to even open to begin with, because apparently the island was sinking. So they, there's a lot of investment they had to put in to reinforce the island. And then I don't know, the wheel hasn't really opened up again, I don't think. I could be wrong. So, but I appreciate the ambition. Yeah, they are sinking, exactly. Those are empty ghost town, and all they plan to build is put on hold, yeah. And it's, it's not just a Dubai thing though. Like you just see so many of these examples. I know China, there's a lot of these types of projects. I remember when I went to Beijing years ago, like I think it was the year of the Olympics, whenever they held it or something. Yeah, you would see like they would prop up so many things just for that event, and then how much of it just basically dies after the event's over. Like you hear about those like ghost cities, and it's just like, it's like a abandoned theme park type feeling. Kristen says there's one of those types of things in Asia. Can't remember exactly where. That's like a ghost town. Yeah, exactly. Oh, maybe we're talking about the same thing. Apparently the prince is out of money. I don't know why that's funny. He's fishing for money now from rich Saudis. Okay. I don't know, man. I have no idea. They operate in such a world that I will never be able to fathom. It's like they live in 4D and here we are in 3D. Like when you're at royalty, the rules don't apply to you, but life is also just, it doesn't apply to you. It's just, you just like have a different spectrum of things. I'm not saying that in a positive or negative way. It's just like you're like in a different stratosphere of like what your problems are, what your day-to-day is, what your your purpose in life, all of that. It's going to melt with the heat of the sun. Yeah, there's whole cities built in China that were supposed to replace other old cities. They're now just empty. Yeah, they're gonna cook their neighbors. Yeah, with the that's one thing. Imagine the line. It's the sun bounces off of it and then starts a fire everywhere around it. I miss traveling. I've been to numerous areas in Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, and the UAE. Oh dang, that's crazy. I would love to go to Iraq and Kuwait. I don't know how feasible that is now. There was a potential trip to Afghanistan that there's someone I knew who like runs tours out there, but I don't know if he's still operating there now. I forget what it was, but I would love to go to Afghanistan. Iran, like, man, I met so many amazing Iranians, is that how you pronounce it, when I went to Turkey, and from a few other travels. They are some of the sample size of anecdote, but every single Iranian I met on my travels were like some of the nicest people you'll meet. Like they went out of their way to like just be friendly to me like a stranger and help me out and stuff. So well, unfortunately, yeah, things are not too stable there, right? Palm fronds first. I lived in South Korea, have been to Germany, Iceland, China for a short trip. Nice. Man, you've seen the world then. You lived life the right way is what I would say. Fed says, yeah, the world now sinking and stagnated. Nobody wanted to live there. Yeah. But here's the thing, because it's easy to laugh and shit on people for their failures or like governments or whatever for failures. But it's like, in some ways, I almost respect, without knowing all the ins and outs and all the other things, right? But in some ways, I do respect when people try to be ambitious, or I'm glad that they tried and failed, especially if the money existed for them to do that. Like, again, they got crazy amount of piles of cash or whatever, right? So I'm glad at least they tried, because then we know some of the upper boundaries or limits of like, or I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's good to have these examples to point to of like what worked and what didn't, as opposed to never doing any of these things because of just the skepticism that I might be portraying right now. It's just people with more money than they know what to do with, and not enough mega rich people to fill the void of the insane creations. Yeah, and like you can always make an argument. It's like, hey, instead of wasting all that money on this type of superficial project or something, why don't you put that money into like helping people? You can always make those arguments, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with it, but it's just like, hey, look, people made these decisions, they tried it. We live with the fact that they tried it, and I'm happy at least they tried. But there could have been better outcomes. We don't live in that world where that happened. So, but they just rent out the Palm. It was meant to be luxury apartments, I think. I had some coworkers. I still have coworkers who, or not anymore, but like when I used to work for companies, right? Like I had coworkers who lived in the Palm, and it's like everything. It's self-sustaining. You have shopping malls. You have all the restaurants, you have tourist stuff, you got like the Atlantis Palm and like these fountains, and you've got hotels, residentials, villas, everything's on the Palm. Like you could literally it's like a self-sustaining little environment. You never have to leave the Palm for anything. Like you got the hospitals, clinics, everything's there. So yeah, it's thriving. It is thriving. Kristen says, I travel through documentaries. Oh, but then also the royalty does live on the Palm somewhere. Not that I know much, but I know there are some of these like private fronds of the palm tree island thing that is like properly royalty, right? Which is crazy. I travel through documentaries. I've been to Canada and Mexico and around the US from coast to coast. Yeah, and you know what? That's something, by the way, I feel like most Americans don't appreciate or do. I've only done a few road trips, but to be able to travel through all 50 states is like, and like the US is meant for that in terms of the highways and like all of that, right? I think that is one of the big values of being in the US, is to try to visit all the states and going through what that experience is like. It's a very American iconic cultural thing, I feel. Paying hundreds of billions to move sand to make a palm tree shaped land is silly. Yes, it is, but we talk about it, right? So, and like, look, not that I have the numbers in front of me, but it is crazy amount of tourism that comes through Dubai, right? It's just like this place is always packed during the holidays or whenever, when the weather's nice. But yeah, and people, they do show up for that palm. They do show up for the world's tallest building. The lines were insane because I took my mom to, like they opened up a new floor on the Burj Khalifa where you can go there and, be on top of the world essentially. And thankfully we reserved tickets at like a slightly higher pay. But if we had just shown up there, the lines were insane to like just go up to the top and come back down. So a lot of this stuff is scams. The people involved make a lot of money on not building it. Tax scams. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I definitely don't doubt that. I'm basically I don't even know what point I'm trying to make, because I do agree with you. It's just like there's a lot of wasted money everywhere. Anywhere that people have a lot of money, there's a lot of like shady things that go on. That's what I'm saying. These people operate in a different like stratosphere, right? Where just they just kind of throw out money. They do things maybe they shouldn't, but they can also do some really good things. I don't know. It's just like a different world, man. They're like aliens to me. It can be very advantageous to trick investors that never build it. Yeah, the royalty thought that they would live next door to Brad Pitt and Scarlett Johansson probably, so they bought it straight away. Yeah. Planning on a Yellowstone trip in June. Oh, nice. Yellowstone looks nice. I've only seen it in movies. I've never been. And it's like, man, that's a great place for wildlife. I wish someone would want to waste money sending us free camera gear. Hey, I've gotten a few camera gears for free, right? We got the Freewell lens, the ND filter, which I need to test. I think I'll be testing it next week. A friend of mine's coming back and we're going to do like a desert trip or something. So we'll see. Okay, I was meaning to show some photos from Jordan. So let's just kind of continue. Oh yeah, there was this cat there with the heterochromia eyes, which I was so fascinated by. I was like spending so much time just photographing that. Yeah, so I think this was in Wadi. Oh, this was in Petra. So then we took like a donkey ride to some high point, and then here's Petra. I just took some basic shots, but the night shot was pretty cool. Let me see if I have it. This is one of my favorite shots. You can see when I started color. This is like, you can see my progress as I was learning how to be better at editing and like the colors and stuff. But yeah, ultimately I landed on something like this, but I did a bunch of different versions of this photo. Basically, this became one of the staple photos I used to make a bunch of my presets. Like I would use this as the test to see if my presets look good or not. And then I created my own preset from this version. But yeah. And if I remember, I think I did one preset based on this heterochromia concept where, because there's like a blue and an orange, so you have like a warm tone and a cool tone. So I dedicated a preset just to this concept where like half the image is in a cool tone and half the image is in a warm tone. But yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. So, yeah, so they light up all these candles at night, and it's only a few days per week that they do this, I believe. So you have to kind of book it in advance or something. Yeah, and there was the Netflix series we watched too relatively recently. That cat has them David Bowie eyes. Man, I'm so jealous of people with like crazy eyes. That cat is awesome. Yeah, it was a super cool cat. That's when I first got fixated, I think, on cats with like heterochromia, or like, sorry, animals with heterochromia. And then I saw a dog with heterochromia in Istanbul. And I think I spent the entire day just trying to look for that dog again and just trying to photograph him. But yeah, anyways. So if I recall, actually, maybe I can see it in the metadata. Oh, no, I don't have the photo on my actual computer. Yeah, so the quality's not as good as it could be because this is just like yeah. But the point is, I set this on a tripod and I didn't know of other methods. So the method I chose was to do a super long exposure shot because there's so many people here. And you can kind of see where I photoshopped some of the people out, like using the clone stamping tool. But basically you can imagine everywhere here are just like people in between the candles, people over on the right. So people are just moving in and out. So I had found a position over where I shot it, and then I just put it on a tripod and I did a super long exposure. But I think I learned later that there are better methods that you can do, because obviously with the long exposure, all it takes is one bad thing and, you know, someone bumps your camera or additional light sources comes in at times, you got to figure out how to get rid of it. So then apparently there's a different method where you're supposed to just take a shit ton of photos. Like you just take multiple shots over and over and over again, and then you stitch it all together later, and you're able to then kind of mask out. You take like one photo where there's nobody in one location, and then you mask it out and replace it. I think I did a bit of that kind of that technique as well, but I don't know. Listen, whatever. But yeah, I definitely did a bit of what do you call that? What's the term where you blend photos together? There's like a proper term for it, because you can see here the stars on the top. They're not like they're fairly stationary, but it wasn't like super long exposure. So I kind of took the top from that, mixed up with some longer exposure on the bottom of the frame, and then blended it all together. So yeah. Did you walk the canyons in the candlelight? You can walk the 2 kilometers. Oh yeah, I did. Thank you for reminding me. I totally forgot. Yeah, you're right. I think, was it the walk there? No. I don't think we did the walk there, because we were already in the canyons, or I forget. We were coming down the mountain from that sunset point. But then when we exited Petra, yeah, there was like that long walk with the candles throughout. Very cool. It was a very cool experience for sure. Man, I forgot these memories. And then this is Ireland, but that's for another day. Okay, well. All right, guys, it is now 10 p.m. I think this is probably where I'm gonna call it a night, because I woke up a bit earlier today, and I want to try to get into yeah, anyways, I think this is where we'll call it a night, because tomorrow I do want to wake up early again, and I need to go to the gym. Plus, I have so much to do in terms of trying to get this rodecaster set up, and I think I need to double check. I might be, because that film group, those people, I think they might be wanting to film in the coming days. So there's a few things I need to juggle. What is today? Today's Thursday, almost Friday. Yeah, so I think I need to get an early start tomorrow. So yeah, I think this is where I will say thank you, guys. Yeah, I think I also feel much better. Even the limited work that we did on my Mongolia episode 2, I feel like this was crucial work. I feel like a lot of the question marks were resolved. So we're going to make steady progress going forward with the Mongolia video. Like I said, I'm very excited by, fingers crossed, with this new editor. So just as a quick reminder, he's helping me with a Pidgeotech video. So it's not like the most game-changing video I'm trying to make here. It's just like a first impressions of my unboxing of the Pidgeotech backpack, and I'll share my thoughts. It's roughly going to be about 7 minutes long, but it's a bunch of firsts for me in terms of like trying to do this kind of physical product review. I tried to do a bit more of like just handheld, not being in front of the camera here talking with the script, but like trying to be a bit more animated about it. But it's just like a casual video where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna check out this backpack. There's a few fun moments in there where I filmed my cats, where they became very interactive with the backpack, so hopefully that will look nice. But yeah, so things are going smoothly with this new editor for that video. And then separately, like I said, I'm now starting a new series that I'll be continuing to film, which is from that overhead shot. And the whole point of this is I'm trying my best to be more comfortable in front of the camera and being able to provide you guys with more bite-sized, unscripted content. So instead of always feeling like you have to stick around to watch a 4-hour stream or 6-hour stream, not knowing where who knows, maybe there's a few gems in the 6 hours of streaming that I say something so profound, you know, that if only you had heard me say that, it would change your life, right? It could be possible. It could happen eventually. But instead of having to search for those diamonds in the rough, I figure I should try to have dedicated videos where I do my best to create those diamonds in 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and then just publish them as a series. So that's a new thing I'm going to try to do in between all the cinematic content that we will continue pushing out. So wish me luck on that. But I think this year is the year of doing. I'm taking action. I'm just kind of, we're going to push through all this and see how it goes. So, but yeah, anyways, anything else I should say? Thank you guys. Fed says I'm also getting up earlier lately, getting used to it for the Spain trip. Oh, nice. Actually, that's very smart. That's very forward thinking there. Kristen says, have a good night. Yes. Okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I will see you most likely tomorrow. Should be, I think, unless I have to do some filming things. So yeah, we'll see.